We'd like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time where the passport bros. We'd like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time where the passport bros. We'd like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time, where the passport bros. We'd like to welcome you to everything there is to know. This is our life, this is our time, where the passport bro. Show. What's going on, brothers? What is going on? It's your dude, Mr. International Passport, here with Mr. Theo Waffle here, another future classic. Theo, can you hear me loud and clear? Is my audio good?
Yeah, you're always good. Yep.
Fantastic, bro. Press the one in the live stream chat if you can hear me loud and clear and hear me and Phil. How's the audio? Check 1 2, check 1 2. Houston, do we have a problem? Houston, do we have a problem? How's the audio, brothers? Let me know. Baseball clips as always with the one. Thank you. Awesome. Can I get a couple more ones to make sure we're good across the board? If you're watching on Rumble as well, hit a one in the Rumble chat as well. Okay. We're live on Rumble, Facebook, and YouTube. Okay. Press a one. WXV Rin. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for the one. So let's get straight into it. Okay. So, brothers, first and foremost, when you come on the channel tonight on the live stream, press the like button. Likes will be greatly appreciated. And of course, welcome aboard the new people. I accept and I embrace you with open arms. Join the Patreon, okay, for intel on travel, stocks, crypto, foreign women, and of course, cop the merch too. Book your IT consultation for IT guidance and IT help and support. And of course, okay, show some support throughout tonight by hitting the super chats and PayPal donation. Okay, so let's get straight into the weed of things. Okay, today's topic is extremely important. Okay, and it's about time that we spoke about this. Okay, this is a straight black male channel that addresses issues that pertain to black men, whether you're in the West, in Africa, Caribbean. If you're a black man, we want to know about your issue. We want to address it. We want to speak about things that are affecting us. Okay. So the title of this live stream is called Black Male Wealth Will Drop to Zero by 2053. The arguments for reparations. Okay. Now, if you've watched me for a bit now, I spoke about reparations here and there. Okay. And I've not hidden my fact that I am strongly for reparations for Black American men, Black British men, Black African men, essentially the whole black male diaspora. But before I even speak about reparations with Theo right in this stream, I want to give some context here. I want to share an article. I want to read some of it. But before we do so, right, Theo, are you doing good today, brother? You fine? Okay. Good stuff, bro. And how's your day been so far, bro?
Long. Prometheus, Grafana, Docker images, AI, FireEye, Sims, all that kind of stuff, man. It was just been a long day. So, yeah, I barely walked. I was just kind of frozen, but it was okay. Yeah, so it's all right. Just getting a lot of stuff done, getting ready for the conclave. And I got to get my curriculum done for it. So, just thinking about class 6, how I'm going to do it for the next year, stuff like that.
Is it sold out now, the conclave, the tickets?
No, we have about another 75 tickets available.
Wow, brothers, conclave is less than 1 month away, if I'm not mistaken. Brothers, go and get your tickets. I think it's September 8th to September 10th, right?
September 6th through September 8th.
Wow, brothers, go and get your conclave tickets now. All right, you're missing out on the opportunity to network with other brothers and, of course, expand your networks and horizons. Okay, so let's get straight into the weed of things. Okay, because I want to share an article here. All right, I'm going to share my screen, present IP, share screen over here, IP. Okay, So we have an article here, okay, called "What is a Racial and Ethnic Wealth Gap?" Right. The reason why I want to speak more about this, wealth gap and the fact that black male wealth will drop, right, to zero, not 5%, not 10%, but zero, which is the worst of any ethnic group in America, okay? Because that's very important to us as black men, okay? Enough with the games, all right? Enough with, us just saying, leave it to the liberals. The liberals gonna save us. No, we gonna need that check, okay? We're gonna need those reparations mailed to us, right, in a gold and silver check. And we want to cash here at Bank of America and Chase, okay? But let's break it down further, okay? So it says here, all right, there is significant wealth inequality in the United States, and it is particularly unequal when we disaggregate measures of wealth by race. Okay. Now, you know me, Theo, right? I've never shied away about talking about race. Okay. I've mentioned on this channel multiple times, right? Race is the number one determining factor in this world. Forget about conservatism, forget about liberalism, forget about religion in this context here. It is race. Okay, it is teams and race that is the number one determining factor in this world. Your race affects your ability to achieve in this world, your ability to obtain wealth, opportunity, and success. Let's keep it a stack, okay? Let's keep it real. So it says here, right? This difference in wealth between white households and black and Latin households is known as the racial and ethnic wealth gap. Now, I don't care about Latin households. I care about black households. Okay, I'll keep it real with you. We ain't talking about no Latin households. It's a black male stream. Okay, so it says here. Okay, so this is in referring to Chicago, right? Household wealth in Cook County, which I believe is in Chicago, right, Theo? Cook County. Wealthiest communities, which are largely white, is more than 200 times greater than household wealth in the poorest communities, which are often comprised of people of color. And I hate that term, people of color. I know I'm not a person of color, I'm a black man. Theo, how do you feel about that term, person of color?
That's normal because there's different ethnicities. I know what they're talking about here. So they're talking about the south side of Chicago.
Okay. So it says here, right? What is wealth and how is it built? So I'm building up to the topic where where black men are going to have zero wealth by 2053. Okay. It says here, wealth is a measure of assets that an individual or family owns, such as a home, retirement accounts, and money in the bank, minus the amount of debt the individual or family owns at a given time. Okay. Having a job that pays a livable wage, coupled with the ability to set aside savings for emergencies, educational costs, and retirement are key ways most households build wealth. Okay. Additional ways include owning a home in a neighborhood with appreciating value, building a profitable business, and investing. Okay. Households can also build wealth when it is passed down from one generation to the next through inheritance. Okay. Or when receiving assistance for paying for things like education, purchasing, or providing a down payment. Okay. Or on a home, or providing a financial cushion that prevents adult children from going into debt. Now, I want to jewel on this point over here. Okay. Let's talk about inheritance because an article came out a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, that said that there will be a $90 trillion wealth transfer to millennials this decade. And black people, particularly black men, will get nearly nothing. So you're telling me that black men, right, will get nearly nothing, in many cases zero, from that 90 trillion wealth transfer. Theo, that is criminal. That is criminal in the grand scheme of things. Where have things gone wrong there for you? Do you want to speak on that for a bit? What's your thoughts there?
I say the number one determiner of your success is your individual responsibility, your motivation, and your ability to achieve and to continually achieve, to not have any reason to not achieve. The reason why, we were talking about Chicago. I was born in Cook County. It's my county. My parents took me out of there because they knew what was going to happen. That was probably one of the best decisions that they made for me, to get me out of there. Cook County and the African American environment is entirely matriarchal. The people regularly decide and choose government welfare over families. That's why there's nothing to transfer to the children, because basically the matriarchy gets the money, uses it immediately. There's no savings. There is no investment in children whatsoever. There's only saying more money from the government, from welfare, EBT card, like it's for money for food stamps, things like that. And there's no investing in the children. And if there is a marriage, how many times are the marriages there's a divorce so that the woman can profit off of it? So the women are destroying any sign of wealth in those environments. In those environments, they are run down, they're filled with crime, drugs. It is a cesspool of liberal failure. So of course, in these kind of places, there is no wealth transfer. Now, if you go to the north of Chicago, you will find NBA players, and largely they are black. And they live in very nice houses, and they have plenty of wealth transfer. Lots of it. They transfer it to their children all the time. And again, the reason is because of individual choice, accountability, and decisions. Those people in the north did not use anything from the government. Nothing. So basically, if you got Cook County, if you decide to cut them a check, what's going to happen is that they're going to drive their cars over to Indiana, buy more guns, then they're going to come back into Cook County and start killing people again, or deleting people again. That's what's going to happen. And they'll just get drunk again, and they'll say this or that. And within 5 years, all the money that was given will disappear. It's because there is no process in place to actually invest the money or actually have any kind of wealth transfer or accumulation of wealth. It's because of the individual decisions of the people who are there. That's why. That's it. So I cannot. I have no mercy for these people at all. They need to leave. They need to do something else. And basically have women who need to choose family instead of welfare. And they're not going to do that. Nope.
Just to push back there a bit, right? So you mentioned NBA players, right? In the north side of Chicago.
Yep.
But not everyone can be an NBA player. That's 0.0% of the population that become an NBA player. So in the context of us speaking about black men here, right? Our path, our journey, it's often hard to build wealth, brother, if we keep it real, because we come from backgrounds where our grandparents ain't had nothing, our parents ain't had nothing, our grandparents ain't had nothing. So how can they pass down wealth through their generation to us, right, if they have nothing? Whereas when we compare it to white people, Theo, and Indian people and Asian people, they often have something they can pass down, Theo. So by then, Theo, we're behind their Theo. And
that's because because of the women. The women chose welfare. White, Indian, and Asian women chose family. So they chose men. So they got married, they accumulated wealth within a family, and then they had something to pass down. The women, particularly in Chicago, in the south side of Chicago, from the 1960s, chose welfare. So because of that, there was no wealth accumulation. So there was nothing to transfer down. It's because of that decision by itself that there is nothing left. It has nothing to do with slavery or racism or anything like that. The reason I talk about the NBA players is they are an example of people who took accountability, left, got their finances in order, got married, and then also created instruments so that they could transfer their wealth within their family. They did the correct decision. Look at myself. I have how many millions of dollars right now because of crypto, right? It's all in a trust. It's in a blind trust. It's actually outside the United States. I know how to get with it if I need to. But I left the South Side of Chicago, right? I didn't do anything with government. Even when I was offered welfare, I didn't accept it. Refused, did all on my own. And because of that, I actually now have something to give to the future. This is an example of taking responsibility and accountability for an action and doing something outside of the government. If you chose the government, no, I didn't have the money to invest. I made good investments. That's all. These people in welfare areas, they had the same money to invest I did. When I invested in crypto, that's when I had less than $23,000 a year. So I was broke when I actually did it. So you have to take, like I say, you have to take the responsibility for it. The reason why this is going on is because of the women. That's it. There was nothing to transfer because they consumed it all.
So, okay, Phil. So, going on to the next point here, right? They mentioned receiving assistance for things like paying for education, purchasing or putting a down payment for a property. Phil, I want to expand on there for a bit, right? Because now, me coming and speaking from a UK perspective, right? I have obviously, not obviously, but I do have some non-Black friends, right?
Mhm.
And I'm seeing that in amongst my non-Black friends, Indians, Asians, whites, okay, they're getting assistance, brother, from their parents or grandparents in putting down a down property. We live in an economy where, you know, most people are getting assistance from their parents to put down a down payment for a property. But Theo, when I speak to my Black people that I know, okay, they don't have that opportunity. They don't have that privilege to get assistance from their parents or grandparents for a property. So that means that, you know, they get no support from parents, no support from grandparents to actually get that boost in life feel. So you know, and that proves my point here as to this racial wealth gap. The fact that the average white individual, the average Indian individual, the average Asian individual can call upon their parents to help them out on a down payment for a property or for education, for business, and we don't have that privilege feel. Feel that right there is racism feel. That's
It's
institutional
not.
racism.
This isn't institutional racism. This isn't privilege. What this is a consequence, is a bad decision of Black women accepting welfare. So what happens is the Black women are accepting the welfare. They're not building with Black men, and they don't give a damn about giving anything to the children. The children are there as instruments to receive additional checks from the government or increased funding from the government, and in terms of welfare. That's it. They're not thinking. So then also, when the children are older, they're going to their children and asking them for money also. It's this matriarchy who is not thinking about long-term wealth building. That's it. It has nothing to do with racism or privilege or anything. This is the consequences of decisions. That's it. 100%. Now, for me, I went to university for free, but I had a scholarship, but my scholarship was partial because of how much money my parents didn't have, and then partially because I'm Black. So I did have a Black scholarship. I admit that. I had plenty of white friends who didn't get a dime from their parents to go to university, and they couldn't go to a nice university like I did. They had to go to junior college, and they had to go to like a lesser university, and they had to pay it all through college loans. I didn't have to do that at all because I had a black scholarship and I loved it. When I had my scholarship, when I went to university, I looked around and I said, okay, well, the stats say that the white people are going to get the jobs after university and the black people aren't. What are the white people doing? Okay, let's copy them. And basically, the black people at my university, most of them have this good scholarship money. They deserved it. I mean, they worked for it. They got it. But the white people were the ones doing the part-time jobs. They were working in cafes and cafeterias and the library. They work all over the place. They had to take college loans and they were still working. And then the Asians, they were getting their money from their parents, 100%. But most of them came from Korea. They came to America with nothing, and then they worked to death. Their parents were working as in dry cleaners or in a restaurant. They had zilch. So the parents were giving every penny they had to their kids, right? So they were the Asians were studying to death. So I thought, okay, let's combine these two. I'll work 30 hours a week like white people, and I'll study to death like Asians. I'm successful. I wonder why that happened, right? I copied people. I knew who to copy. And I took that black scholarship and I made the most of it. And I think I'm doing pretty well. My life is pretty good right now. So my point here is you have to look at the decisions that black parents in particular are taking towards their children and spouse. I didn't get anything from my parents they're both dead. I didn't get anything from them in terms of inheritance. The only inheritance I got from my parents was a reason to go to therapy. That is it. All right. I got zero from them. All right. I don't care. I still made my millions. I'm still successful. That's because I kept on making good decisions. It doesn't matter how much money you got. If you got a bad decision, you're gonna have a bad outcome.
So brother. So wow, okay. So brother, so now let's get more context here as to why there's a racial ethnic wealth gap, okay? So it says here, right, okay? What's in the history? What is the history of the racial and ethnic wealth gap and how it came to be? Okay. So brother, we know that women lie, men lie, but numbers don't lie, right? Is it Theo? So what's there in the Excel spreadsheet? What's there in on paper is the truth. Stats, data, numbers back up our claims. Okay. So it says here, right? Even before the United States founding, the laws and customs of the land ensured white individuals and families could build more wealth than people of color. I hate that term, people of color. More wealth than black people. Don't refer to black people as people of color. We're not that nonsense. We're black. So
also the Chinese weren't allowed to build wealth also. And largely speaking, the Latinos weren't allowed either. They were hit pretty hard. I mean, what we did to the Chinese was pretty horrible. So I'll let you keep on going. I'm just saying these groups didn't get an easy ride either back in the 19th century. But okay, I'll let you go.
No group in the history of this earth, brother, has been through what black men have went through. Theo. No group. So the legal practice of slavery prohibited millions of black men in bondage from earning wages for their labor for 456 years. So that proves my point. So black men were slaves for over 2 centuries, right? Not earning a single penny, not being able to buy land, pass land on to their children they made during slavery. But during slavery, right, white people were making money during slavery. They were buying property and they were passing it down through those centuries. So you're telling me that there is a 256 years, right, head start, right, that white people have over black people. So, Theo, when you see that, right, no one cannot deny on this earth that we are not entitled to reparations. We need those checks. We are 100% Theo entitled to reparations without a single doubt, bro. Brother,
Mm,
2 centuries, right? We were not
mhm.
earning money when we were slaves as black men. No, we need those reparations, Theo.
And what
Which
will it do?
what it will
Because
do,
if you give a poor person money, they're just going to spend it.
educate them.
So no,
Educate them.
so then what you do is you give them free university, like I had. That works. So you have a process in place. You're like, hey, if you qualify, if you study, we'll give you help in elementary school and and high school. But if you study, if you work, then we'll give you a free education. That I agree with. Free master's degree programs. That I agree with. Yep, that'll work. But it's about a process. But if you don't have a process in place, then giving money gives you nothing. So let's talk about some of the wealthy white people. Okay, so there are some people who are white and wealthy. Yeah, they're doing well. If you look at the family structure, you look at how it's structured, you can look at the decisions, you look at the processes that has been passed down through generations, which is true. Those processes enable wealth transfer over generations and also knowledge transfer within the family. If we don't have those processes, it doesn't matter how much money we have. We're just going to become poor again. It won't matter at all.
So, so would you rather have a reparation check for $1 million plus free university, or get no money and have free university for you?
I would just have free university.
Nah,
That's no, because the $1 million for most people, that'll be gone
we
in
have to educate them,
seconds. No,
brother.
no, no.
Brother,
It,
even
if
if
you
it's gone,
look at
Theo,
if
we
you
are
look at
entitled to those checks, Theo.
if you look at lottery earners, most of them are worse off within 5 years of learning the lottery because they take the money and blow it. And then what they do is they leverage the money to engage in debt, and they have bad decision making processes. So they end up owing money or having a larger debt profile and declaring bankruptcy in the end. And this is all due to the lotto check that they got. It'd be better if they hadn't won the lottery at all. So you can't educate and then say here's the money. You can't say here's the money and educate. It won't work. I say give them education. Yes, 100% give them education. Do other incentives, like for example, if you get married and you are of African descent or ADOS descent, then 20 years of within your marriage, you have no federal tax. That'll work. That promotes family. And then within family, you have wealth transfer and generational wealth. That's something to build on. Of course, free university, I definitely say that fundamentally for us is necessary. Additional educational aids for us, free education. I'm all about lunch programs and breakfast programs, but ultimately, many of these programs will not change Black women's decision to choose the government over men. And if you don't have that, you're not going to have generational wealth. You can't beat it.
Theo, hold on. So, let's expand more as to the problems of, so aside from slavery, right? Okay, we've had, after slavery's end, the consequences of racism as well as racial and economic segregation continue to impact household and communities across the country. That's Jim Crow. That's not giving black people loans. So that's sort of the first issue, slavery. Okay, second issue, Jim Crow. Right, segregation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Third issue here. For example, white veterans returning home from World War II found government-supported paths to education and home ownership, key avenues for building wealth, key avenues for building wealth through the GI Bill. Black veterans, however, were statutorily and systematically excluded from receiving these same government-funded benefits.
Mm,
So
mm,
3.3 free strikes. Okay, hold on, Phil. So further through a federally created practice such as redlining, Black Americans were barred from the low-cost federal housing administration, insurance-backed mortgages that their white counterparts received. This resulted in unfair lending and predatory home sale practices such as contract buying and blockbusting that depressed housing markets, fueled fear and flight by white homeowners, and severely limited Black homeowners from building home equity.
mm,
Whoa. And hold on, Phil.
mm,
So all
mm,
that now
mm,
has played a part to this particular statement here. Okay. So when we observe what's happening there, right? Okay, it says here, key point here. According to one study, okay, so if no action is taken to address the racial and ethnic wealth gap, communities of colors are on a pathway, the Black community specifically, okay, the Black male community, the straight Black male community, on a pathway to hit zero wealth in the coming decades. According to one study, the median Black household is projected to hit zero wealth by 2053.
mm.
Zero wealth by 2053. So, brother, there's four strikes so far we've mentioned: slavery, segregation, redlining, and the other part was the GI Bill, Black veterans coming from war. Okay,
Mm,
so, brother, that's a lot of things that the powers that be have put against us from building wealth in the West, particularly
mm,
in America.
mm.
Okay, so no, brother, we gonna need reparations, Phil. Brother, that is so much oppression. We need a check, Phil, because guess what, Phil, right? Japanese got reparations, okay? A certain group that I won't mention got reparations. Native Americans got reparations. Why is it when we as Black men talk about reparations, people always come up with different ideas, excuses? No, it's too late. Blah blah blah. If every other group can get reparations and checks, we need a check too, Phil. Because Phil,
Mm.
we've been through hell, bro. Break it down for us, brother.
Yeah, but you see, what happened is the government started giving welfare to Black women. So there's been welfare, which is basically you can call it a form of reparation or a manifestation of white guilt, especially white liberal guilt, since the 60s. And how much are we spending per year? I mean it's well over $250 billion a year is being spent on welfare. I don't know how much is being given to the African American community, but I do know very well because I live here. I've seen generational welfare users since the 70s. I was born in the 70s, and I knew that they were on welfare in the 60s. So this has been going on. There's always been some sort of wealth transfer going on based upon white guilt, what had happened before the 60s. If there is a check given at all, it's not going to change the process that we have here. We need to have various reforms and a way of actually retaining the wealth after it is, if there were a check given. At this point, no. So the point that I also have on here is it says it's projected to hit zero by 2053. That means it's positive right now. So if it's positive, what is the process that we have right now, which is diminishing Black wealth to the point of zero? Identify that process and reverse it. Because if that process is still in place, if you do reparations, it's not going to change anything. It's just going to prolong the hit zero wealth year. So maybe it's going to be 2080 or 2085 or something like that. It's still going to go to zero. So we have to figure out what it is, what the process is, and then deal with that.
So feel right. So now I'm of the opinion that okay, we are going to be a permanent underclass if there isn't incentives that are made for us specifically, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's them giving us a check for reparations, okay. If not, I'm proposing that we should not be paying any tax for the next 200 years. No tax, no income tax, no tax whatsoever. It's only fair because how can we, right, catch up to white people and Asians when we've had all these things against us? We as black men have been through the absolute worst. So why are we paying tax? Why are we paying for healthcare? Why are we paying for education? Okay, home should be free for us. Why? The powers that be can fix this. What is Kamala Harris doing? This is what black men should be asking Kamala Harris. If you can't pay us reparations, what incentives can you do to make our lives easy? Because guess what, Theo? Our lives ain't easy, bro. It's tough as black men. It's tough.
That's
Brother,
because of the decisions that we make.
brother, not really,
That's
bro.
why. No, it's
Brother,
decisions.
think,
100%
think,
decisions.
Theo, so basically, right? So in the UK, right? Okay, I know a lot of black men, right, who are educated, feel smart,
Hmm.
intelligent black men. They ain't pookies. They are high value thinking black men. But feel
Hmm.
they can't get jobs or they can't get a promotion, right? Why is that? Because they're black, bro. They're black.
No,
They're
well,
black, feel.
if that's really true, they should be going to a lawyer and getting some lawsuits involved, because I'm sure that there's plenty of race discrimination lawsuits in the UK, and people are making plenty of money from that. If that's actually true, but if they really feel it is true, ultimately, then they should be leaving the UK, because if that is how deep it is, go to another place. I, in the United States here, I don't have any problems getting employed as a black man. Zero. I've never had an issue on that. And I don't have any DEA, which is day in employment. When I got my first job, of course, it was in Japan, and there's no benefit at all. I was a foreigner. I didn't speak Japanese perfectly. I had to get a job based upon my ability, and I did it just fine. I was very, very good at that. You have a lot of problems in the UK. It's not just black men not able to get ahead. It's also plenty of normal middle class people who generally can't get ahead because they're either not connected or they're just suffering through endless debt that they have in the UK. So the UK system is definitely stifling not just black men, other groups as well, right? So you do have a have and have not situation increasingly in the UK. We're starting, I would say this is also increasingly happening here in the United States. But basically, if you're not willing to change, if you're not thinking, like again, capitalism here in America, if you're not taking individual responsibility, you're not doing the proper decisions, you're not going to make it. So, I mean, I made it. I made it through being homeless and having cancer. I got out of it. I didn't have any parents, nothing, no, well, I didn't even have health insurance for a while there. I got racked up some debt. I finally had health insurance again. So it got myself a little bit better. Um, you know, I made it by myself. That's all about decisions.
So feel right now. But you mentioned how people get a check, they'll spend it, right?
Mm.
But why, in my opinion, right? Let them spend it how they want to spend it. I think, brother, the key point is here is that we gotta get a check. We gotta get a check, right? So let's say, right, every black person in America gets $1 million for reparation. Okay, I think, right, they should spend it how they want to spend it. And I know for a fact that some black men will put down stocks in crypto, buy property, and invest it. That's cool. Some people may blow it, but
Mm.
that's their decision, Theo, right? But the key point here, Theo, is that we need a check because every
Well,
other group got a check. Brother, we need something, and brother, we need a check, brother.
well, if you get the check, then if white people have any sort of sense, what they should do is say, okay, we've made the payment. now no DEI, which that's actually gotten removed by the Supreme Court, so that's actually a good thing. Also, no welfare. So I would be all about it if they knocked out welfare. I think that would be a good decision. So then I guarantee you within 5 years, you would have a dramatic increase in homeless Black people, particularly, again, in the liberal areas, because they would blow all the money. They wouldn't have any process in place. And then the government would say, hey, look, we have already given you reparations. We don't owe you anything. We already said we are sorry. We're done. No Black scholarships would be there as well, which would suck. That would be a terrifying situation. And they would say, look, we're done with it. You know, make it as it is, as you can. This is the capitalistic society. You have to be the same way as everyone else. And I don't think that Black people would be in a position to do anything at that point. They would be in a very bad position because the process, again, the government being there for the support, that would be removed. So if you have put money in, but you remove processes and you don't have an additional process to put in there, it's over. It's a question of time. They won't make it. So I say get processes in place and actually help to improve the Black community, improve the Black family. Do that, we have something. But without that, nah, man. Yeah, we're gonna make a lot of poor people real quick.
So Theo, right? So we are decades away from the end of slavery, right? And it is in my personal belief that the government hasn't done enough, right, to uplift and improve the quality of life for Black men on a mass wealth scale and a mass quality of life scale. Okay, there are so many options here. There's either paying us reparations. There's making us not being able to pay any sort of taxes, right? Giving us grants, free grants, tax-free, interest-free, okay, to buy a property, giving us many incentives, free land, right? And people know what we're going through. They publish these stats about, Black men are the poorest, Black men doing that, doing this, doing that. Okay, so what is the solution? And why isn't Joe Biden, why isn't Kamala Harris, right, who are running the country right now, solved it for us, Theo? What is going on? Because Theo, right? Because Theo, it pains me when I see articles say that there'll be a 90 trillion wealth transfer and we as Black men get nothing. So what is Joe Biden, what is Kamala Harris doing, right, to ensure that, we prosper as Black men in this country? What's going on, Theo?
Well, we can't make that decision in the family. The government can't make Black women choose men and family over the welfare. So as long as they choose welfare, we have a problem. So again, pay attention to what the chat is saying. They're talking about how more white people are on welfare. Yes, that's actually true. But largely speaking, whites, Asians, and immigrants do not choose welfare as a substitute for marriage. As long as that is there is no ability to actually have wealth transfer. Because if you accumulate wealth while you're on welfare stops. So therefore, you have an incentive to spend all of your money. Whereas, again, like for me, I've got my millions, right? I'm still working. I'm still paying taxes. Why? Because I keep on going with my process. My process is number one. And because of that, I become wealthier and wealthier every year. That's because of the decisions that I'm making. If you have your decision being government and not family, you don't have any wealth to transfer. Then you can't go around and say, oh, it's because of slavery that happened before. No, because the real issue is we could have had plenty of wealth from the 60s on up till now if Black women would have chosen families and not welfare. And right now, black women are 100% behind welfare and not family. So you can't change it. That situation is not going to happen. So again, look, what am I going to do? I'm going to probably go to Brazil, right? Going to go to South America. I'm probably going to get remarried down there, right? And then I will have a place to actually do a wealth transfer towards a family. And my kids will be making plenty of money. I didn't choose the government. I got a black scholarship, which was nice, all right? Because what happened because of slavery. That's, again, for white people, that's seen as a part of reparations. I'm very thankful for my education. I don't know what I would do without it. I'm good, right? But yeah, it's because of my decisions. That's all I got to say about that one. That you really can't go and say, look, we don't have anything. We don't have anything to pass on. You got this $90 trillion when those people weren't getting welfare. When those people didn't choose the government, they chose family. So they have something to pass on. Just the way it is. If people choose welfare, they're not going to have anything to give.
So Theo, right? So okay, so Theo, there are families here, right? Black families that have not chosen welfare, right?
Mhm.
There's a dad and a mom. They've not chosen welfare. They work hard. They have black kids. Cool, right? Okay, but Theo, but there's still a racial wealth gap even between those who don't choose welfare, right? Compared to whites and Asians, and I'll tell you why I feel, right? So, for example, okay, like your promotions, we know not only in the UK but in America too, black men, for some reason, he may be the smartest black man in the world. He can be a genius. It's very hard for him to get promoted, right, or get a top paying job. Let's keep it real, Phil. Let's keep it real, okay? And
Mhm.
then, okay, number two, okay, he'll get paid lower than a white or Asian person, even though they do the same job.
Mhm.
Okay, that's very common. Okay, number three, deny the bank loan for a business or something important that can give them assets or building wealth. So there are still factors working against black men, even if they come from good families and the mom and dad have not chosen welfare, right? That right there, Theo, is institutional racism that has been prevalent for centuries now.
Mhm.
Yo, so all this powers up, right? And all these things are making black men poorer and disadvantaged. We need to address this, and reparations is one form, right? Or or incentives are another form. But we cannot deny that whether a family chooses welfare or they don't, that if they're black, Theo, it's gonna be a problem. We live in a racist country, in a racist society that hates black skin, that hates black people, that don't like black people, that want to see black people fail, that want to see black people denigrated, that have virtual hatred towards black people. Feel I see it every day when I go to work, when I'm in the bus. I see the looks, the anger that a black man is walking around. I see it towards me, feel and it is impacting every single area of not only my life but other black men all around the world in the West, brother.
I'm not having that situation. We elected a black man as president, right? So he got in there, and he's afterwards. He's a multi millionaire. He's super rich because everybody loves him. So if we look at sports, most of the most successful people are black here. We look at entertainment, most of the successful people are black. Black culture is prevalent everywhere. Everybody's trying to copy it. So I don't have a situation. I mean, I'm here in the South. I'm not
What
having
about tech?
situations where
What about
people are
Phil?
what?
In California, Phil, where they're locking out black men from the top jobs, the Indians and Asians, brother. But we know that for a fact, right?
Those
Where
are
Indians,
those are Indians who need to be prosecuted. You're not having white people doing that. So the Indians are doing this not only against black people, but also against Koreans, Chinese, and white people. They only want to have Indians within their own group. I've experienced this before. I've seen it. I have different issues with this. So it has nothing to do with being with black. They'll fire you if you're white too. They don't care, right? So there is, let's say, there's plenty of opportunities as a black person. I'd say there's zillions of them. If you really are okay, if you're like really so intelligent and you're having this issue, why don't you leave the United States or leave the West like I did? I went to Japan. I had my opportunities there. There's no problem. Come back to the West. I'm still doing well. I'm still rocking it. I still got plenty of opportunity. It just doesn't stop. It's because I focus a lot on my education and I'm willing to move, right? So I move, I'm flexible. I'm not staying in one location. And of course, again, I always say with situation you have in the UK, you need to get out of the UK because as far as I'm concerned, the difference between what you're experiencing and a similar white person of similar economic background and middle-class stature is rather the same. He's also not able to get ahead. He also can't pay his credit cards. He also has increased interest payments. He also is under threat of losing everything in a divorce. He's also paying too many taxes. So you and him are rather the same. You're having a class issue, not a race issue. You guys need to get out. My English friends who are in Asia making lots of money, none of them wanted to go back to the UK except to have a vacation or to see family. This is because they knew the tax system in the UK and they knew they were doing better in Asia. So get out of that system, work someplace else, become a passport bro, and then you have an option. If you, I love the UK personally. I love UK culture. I think it's great. You see me trying to move to the UK? No. Why? Because I know it's there. I'm smart about it. I know how your system works. So you got to get out of your system.
Theo, I want to mention the fact that, the money is in tech, right? Okay? The money is in tech as of right now. And obviously the big companies, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Microsoft, okay, are filled with Indian people, Asian people, and for some reason, a huge majority of them just don't like brothers, okay? And I want to tell you why this is very important for us to address. And we may have to do a separate stream on this because it's very important. Because, so let's say, right, there are numerous tech jobs in these big companies, Google, Netflix, Nvidia, okay? Microsoft, etc., and they're paying $200K each, which is crazy amount of money, okay? Not only are they paying you $200K for that job, okay, they're also giving you stock options too, RSUs, okay? So that means over 3 years, 5 years, okay, that could be $1 million worth of stocks, but divided over 5 years. So once a year, you're given another $200K. Okay, so that's $400K, brother, in total compensation, plus bonuses, incentives. Okay, so that right there, having that kind of salary, brother, can help you build wealth, right? You can also do that money. But Theo, the problem is black men are not being hired for those jobs. Black men are being locked out for those jobs, right, brother? So to the point where, right, I speak to brothers in the UK, okay, who tell me that if the recruiter or the interviewer is Indian, they don't go for it because they know that they ain't gonna get that job. And it's a shame, okay? It's a goddamn shame that black men are being locked out of these wealth generating opportunities. We need those reparations, bro, because, brother, it's too much against us, bro. From slavery, from the GI Bill, right? From segregation, from Jim Crow, to now, they're still stopping us from getting that tech bag feel. It's too much, bro.
So I have students who are making over $200,000 a year at one job doing AI. And so they're in it. Over $200,000 a year from one job is possible. I'm making over $200,000 a year from one job as well. So I don't mind it. I got in one company, I got stock that was worth $100,000. It's now worth over $250,000. because I knew what company to get into, and it was what is it? A startup. So we got acquired, and I made my money. Right. So there are options like that. What we have to look at this: are Indians and Asians choosing CompTIA for a certification, or are Black men doing it? Well, largely speaking, Black men are choosing CompTIA, and Indian and Asian men are not. And because of that, Indian and Asian are coming with a higher level of tech skills than Black men are. Plus, you have these Black men who are doing CompTIA and staying at the CompTIA level and not improving their skill set. Therefore, you have a lower amount of cash and benefits being paid to Black men in tech. If they don't do CompTIA, they actually learn the new technologies. They do AI, they do Kubernetes, they actually do programming successfully without doing the bottom level CompTIA studies. These Black men also get $150,000, $200,000 a year, and they are highly competitive in the market. And if again, with the thing with the Indian situation, I get it. Remove H1B1, that goes a long way to stopping that problem, because it can't go on forever. And then you increase the laws against discrimination. When we see the discrimination happening with Indians towards the native population, you sue the hell out of them, make sure the companies understand what's going on, and get rid of it. That's how you solve that.
But Theo, I think the main point I feel is that, Google, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, and these other mega big tech companies, I want to see Black men there, brother, because that's where a lot of Asians or whites are making big money. And I come across them in the UK. They're living crazy, incredible lives. Okay, they got the stock money, the salary money is amazing. Okay, but why don't we see more Black men at Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Facebook? Because it's not ran by, but there's a lot of Indian managers there, a lot of Asian managers there, and unfortunately, they don't want to see brothers succeed. They don't. They're locking out brothers in the interview stage, right? They're throwing brothers hard questions. Theo, let me tell the story, Theo, okay? Let me tell you this very crazy story. So I know a brother in the UK, okay? And that brother has an Indian friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
The brother and the Indian, right, go for the same job, okay? Same job specs, same requirements. The brother goes for the interview, and the recruiter or the interviewer is Indian. The Indian guy asks the brother questions that are not in the job spec. The brother's thinking, yo, this isn't in the job spec. So obviously, the brother fumbles the answers because he couldn't prepare for something that wasn't in the job spec.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Indian guy has his interview, and the Indian interviewer doesn't even ask him anything outside of the job spec. It is all according to the job spec. So guess what, Phil, right? The brother that I know and the Indian guy he spoke to, the brother asks him, right, hey, did the Indian recruiter or manager ask you these questions? The Indian friend looks confused. He's like, what? No, that's not part of the job spec. What are you talking about? And the brother was like, what? So that's how they do things. And guess who got the job, Phil? The Indian guy. So Phil, they sabotage us, bro. They sabotage us.
You're thinking they're sabotaging you as a Black man. That's BS. They're sabotaging non-Indians. And I've also seen this situation as well. But I want you to understand, white people have complained to me about this. Latinos have complained to me about this. All right? Koreans, Chinese have also complained about this. Right? So you can't say that white people should be paying reparations because of Indian racism towards Western people. That doesn't make sense. You have to deal with that issue specifically, get laws in place, get some lawyers involved, get rid of that one, change some visas, and makes people understand they can't be doing that crap. That's just not going to happen at all. All right. And again, white people have suffered under that as well. And then There's again, get your studies up. Don't do CompTIA, and go into other areas, and you'll be just fine. There's plenty of opportunities. There's plenty. I mean, I don't work at one of these big companies that you're talking about, but I mean, I make huge amounts of money. I'm just fine. I have no problems with this.
So, Theo, as we come to the end of this discussion here, you're going to say your last point here, and I'm going to say my last point here, Theo. But I am 100%. I am 150,000% for reparations. Okay, because I'm at a point where I'm done with these, these so-called programs where at the end of the day, it goes to women, it goes to people that are not even born in the West. Okay, it goes to everyone but black men, and I'm tired of us being finessed. I need a check. I want me and black men that I know to get a check, because all these programs, they'll find some way to bring in other groups, and it won't only be for black men. When was the last time you saw a program that was only for black men? I can't remember, Phil. I really can't.
We have it. We have it.
I think it was my brother's keeper, and you find that it was also for Latinos too. I'm thinking, what? What is this? What is this? Cut me a goddamn check, bro. Cut me a goddamn check. F it.
Well, if you're cutting the check to you, but this institutional racism is maintained, then you're still not going to be building any wealth. Yeah, you still have the same amount of taxation you had before. You're not going to be able to build a process.
Get out of the country. Get out of the country.
Yeah. So, but why don't you get out of the country in the beginning, in the first place, and then go build wealth someplace else? That actually makes sense.
To get a check from the government, right? $1 million for reparations and get out of the country. Because at this point, right, we need something from the government who has oppressed us, right? Who has put us in slavery, didn't pay us. We need something from the government. We get the check, then we get out of it. We ain't leaving, brother, in the grand scheme of things, right? Without that check. We're gonna need that check.
Sure. I didn't have a reparations check and I got out. I was fine. I mean, me going to Japan was one of the best decisions I ever made. I made it, within 5 years, I was at $250,000 and I'm married. Just no check. But I had my university education. It looks like you were educated as well. You had your education, and that was very important. So if you're not removing the institutional racism, then a check is not going to give you that much. They're going to do a check, then they're going to tax it. They're going to do a capital gains tax in your assets that you have. They're still taxing you to death. So you might as well change the system if possible. We can do it here. And we have done considerable amounts of change. And then make sure you're not doing low-level education, particularly in tech. You're not doing CompTIA, right? You don't see the Indian doing CompTIA. They're doing much higher level forms of education and certification. This is, of course, what I advocate very seriously within my group. You must have the higher level of education if you're going to be, higher level of certification and training if you're going to get the higher level jobs. They made that decision. Okay. Now remember, of course, the UK had its little colonialization in India. They didn't get anything after the English were removed. And now they're doing very well. They didn't get any reparations. They didn't get anything, but they stuck together and they kept their money within their group. They valued marriage, they valued education and children, and they got ahead. So we should actually copy what the Indians are doing, if anything. We should copy what Asians are doing. We don't need a check. We need a better process.
So Theo, right, we're seeing people, I'm seeing people around me get inheritance from parents, grandparents, and I'm seeing brothers I know got a struggle, got bust themselves up to get some sort of check for property, and even that's still enough. But Indians can call on their parents, white people can, Asians can. All I'm saying is that it's just very unfair and unjust as to what we've been through and how the system has screwed us over, and how we have to work 10 times as hard to get half of what the white man gets. Theo, it's tough, bro. Theo, man, it's tough.
Well, I mean, if you have the women choosing welfare, then you can't build as a unit with them. What can you do? The best option that you have is to use your passport and go to a country where you can build with the women there. That makes sense. I was able to build with my Japanese wife. I didn't have a problem there. But if you're not able to build with your partner, it's over. Again, as long as Black women continually choose government, get that any kind of support from there, consume it, and do not focus on generational wealth, there is nothing we can do in the Black community to save it. Even if you give checks out, like we're already getting checks. That's what welfare is. They're checks. So there's nothing that can be done. So I don't need one. My parents didn't give me anything. Like I said before, the number one inheritance my parents gave me was a reason to go to therapy. That was it. I didn't get nothing. They consumed everything. They died penniless. I didn't get nothing. Didn't stop me. Still a millionaire. It's because I made the proper decisions. I used my education. I used my Black scholarship. They had scholarships too in the 60s. They squandered it. I did not. I made sure I was educated. Because I looked at them and I said that they were losers and I didn't want to be like them. I just did something different. So if you're not changing the pattern, what can I say? I also have a lot of discipline, a lot of de-discipline, if you know what I mean. So I'm not going out there spreading my seed around, right? I'm really, really conservative there. And because of it, I don't have to worry about, some sort of payments to some woman who is going around talking about how I ain't ish. My money goes towards books, computers, like my MacBook Pro M3. I love quite a lot. It goes towards in financial instruments. I still save at least $6,000 a month, right? Minimum. Well, I'm not going to be able to get that unless I make proper decisions. Well, I don't see how the government's going to, you got to get a process. I have a pretty good process in place. Without the process, ain't nothing's going to happen.
Shout out to Phil, them really super chats, bro. Shout out to Global Free Agent for the support. I prefer education for a lifetime and continue support of future trainings over finances. I would max out any IT training. Teach me how to fish, priceless. Okay, a good point there. I prefer not paying any taxes for the next 200 years. I don't believe Black men should be paying taxes. I'm being serious, but I don't.
200 years? 200 years?
It is unjust that we are paying taxes. If they had any careful Black men, if they were truly sorry as to what they put us through during slavery and Jim Crow, we would not be paying taxes in any shape or form.
Okay. I say reduce taxes. I mean, out of the system, you can't do that. If you would do like reduce welfare payments and then reduce taxes, that's on the money. So if it was be like, okay, so you get half the welfare payment and there's a time limit on the payments on welfare, and then Black men in particular, or Black people, but particularly Black men, get like say 20 to 50 years of no taxation. I'm down. That's okay. I'll take that. That sounds pretty good because that gives you an incentive to build a process, and then you can use that time period to build assets, and then from there you have process in place, and you can build generational wealth. That actually makes sense. But again, without the opportunity to build a process, then who cares? You're just going to consume it.
Shout out to Big Cheese for the support. If they thought they were going to immediately spend our reparations money, they'd have paid us decades ago. They're afraid of us riding economically. I agree. We have a lot of smart brothers that will use that money for great things, and they know that we would. That's why they don't want to give us reparations. You know, for a fact, we would be building that money for that check. Sick of it, brother. There is an active, ongoing oppression against black men in the West. We are oppressed, and I'm not afraid to say it. That there is a system that is keeping us down. I don't give a damn what anyone said. There's a system that keeps us down.
It's called welfare payments to women who then choose the government and not men, not family. That's what we need to remove, because you can't build without with that system. That it's impossible. You're basically removing the women from the group. So white men have white women, Latinos have Latinas, Asians have Asian women. We don't have our women. That's the problem.
Shout out to Mr. Onasi for the support. I think it will be better and more realistic to petition the government to give us tax exemptions like the Native Americans. No capital gains tax. Yes, but I definitely agree, 100%. I don't want to be paying no taxes, man. No, it's not fair. I don't want to be paying no tax. Shout out to Mr. Duck Liston for the support. As long as the community devalues the family units and envy of black men and boys, no kind of reparations can uplift poverty, money, dysfunction. Damn.
Yeah, this is, again, I'm going to go on. Yeah, that's what you're saying, Duck, is incredibly correct. So as long as you have black women advocating deleting black boys, they are not emphasizing black boy education, and they are choosing the government over marriage with black men. Reparations ain't going to do jack, because we can't reverse that. That is a major problem. So again, in the West, again, people are looking at this. How many times do you see a single black woman who has 2 or 3 daughters and there's no son there? They're only daughters. How many? I see it all the time. Well, that is a decision based upon her. A check isn't going to help anything there. And one of the things I want to go to the chat. I'm not comparing myself to other black men or anything like that, guys. I'm looking at processes. You have to got a process in place. Without processes, you can't have generational wealth. It's the way it is. So effectively what happened was that Europeans developed a process to transfer African labor to financial instruments and assets within the West. Okay, so that's horrible. That's actually very, very, very horrible thing. So how do you repair that? So even if you give money, they still have the assets. They still have the institutions. So it doesn't work. You have to have us saying we're going to build our own assets and we're going to make our own institutions. And then we're going to focus on the family. Then we have something. But without it, man, they won.
All right, so I'm going through the comments, right? Create for tomorrow. You got to keep it respectful. Now, Theo is entitled to his own opinion. No name calling, none of that stuff, okay? Keep it respectful or you will be timed out or potentially banned, okay? Keep it respectful. That goes for everyone, okay? So create for tomorrow, keep it respectful, and also no N-word use, okay? Right? You can disagree with him, but don't be disrespectful, okay? Keep it respectful, okay? Shout out to Mr. Black Muslim for the support. The issue of reparations require its own stream, but trust me, we are all reparations, but not under the pretext of classism. Great point there. Thank you, Mr. Muslim.
Go ahead. Time out. Create for tomorrow. Yeah, the person's being a punk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
For tomorrow. All right. Shout out to Mr. J Bones for the support. Thank you, brother. Welcome back, J Bones, super sticker. Shout out to J Bones again. Theo is very right. There are no checks coming. I'm very sad about that, bro. Shout out to subscribe at Love Crossing Borders for the 20,000 Colombian pesos. Thank you, bro, for the support.
Yeah, that's on. Hold on,
Great
that's
show.
Andre. That's Andre. So Andre got 5 of his channels knocked out. Okay, by YouTube for reasons that I very much disagree with. I was on his live stream when he said the things that he said, that they decided to knock him out. And Andre is a wonderful man. He's a married man. He's built himself from nothing and made himself from nothing. And again, he's a wonderful example of a black man who made the right decisions, invested in himself, and is now successful. He's living in Colombia with his beautiful Colombian wife. He's sure going to make a family pretty soon. And what YouTube did to him was just wrong. I can't agree with it. So he'll be at the Black Manosphere Conclave, and he'll be speaking right after me on September 8th. It's going to be a great time. And he has a new channel. I suggest everybody go over there and subscribe to his channel because he has a lot of great things to say. He talks a lot about how to become a passport bro, what you have to do, the checklists, and how you need to, what the mental process you have to go through. And I remember he was just talking about how you need to transfer your habitual actions, your daily life to another country so that you're not in tourist mode. You're actually in what I would describe as being integration mode. So he has a lot of great things to say. I'll really love his content. Go over there and check him out.
Awesome. Thank you, Theo. So let's react to some interesting clips from this week. Great discussion there. You know where I stand here. I know where you stand. Maybe all get reparations in the future. Theo, I know if you got a check for $1 million for you definitely would cash it. You wouldn't give it back. Hey, let's go.
No, I got a check for $2.6 million, and I put it into a trust. I didn't get 1 penny from it, and I kept on working. And what did people say around me? Don't work, be lazy, just go around banging chicks. And I said, no, I'm going to work. So I'm still working to death. I still have insomnia. I'm still teaching. I basically teach for free, right? I teach to death. I keep on working to promote Black men. And it's because of the processes that I have in place that I am successful. That's why I say, look at Andre. Look at his process. His process is good. That's why he's successful. And again, I'll go look at what somebody's saying in the chat. It says Cloudbuster. He says he lost on this one. Processes are built by leaders. No, processes are built by men, individual men who make individual choices about their lives and build a process for their success. That's where you have a process, not by other people. You have to take your individual responsibility for you. And based upon that process, you can build a family. That's how it's done. Not by other people. It's done by you, the individual.
Awesome. All right, let's react. Let's react. So let's react to the first clip over here. Okay.
Back foot, Ukraine. So after weeks of being on the back foot, Ukraine has suddenly hit back and launched an incursion that appears to have gone deep inside Russia and caught Moscow's forces by surprise. It all started on Tuesday with an aerial assault of rockets, drones and missiles combined with soldiers and tanks on the ground, and it's centred around the border town of Sudzha, around 330 miles southwest of Moscow. Now Russia says that it stopped the advance and that it will push Ukraine's forces back to the border, but there are conflicting reports about how successful Russia's defence has been here. For example, the local governor in the region of Kursk has declared a state of emergency there, and there are reports that Ukraine has gone as far as 25 kilometres inside Russian territory. And if that's true, that would mean that they've claimed more territory in the last 48 hours than they did during their entire summer offensive last year. But is this just a raid to potentially move Moscow's forces away from other parts of the front where Ukraine's under pressure? Or is this an attempt to hold territory inside Russia and potentially trade it for territory that Moscow holds inside Ukraine? It's hard to tell because there's been no word at all from Kiev.
So this here is referring to the Russia-Ukraine war, okay? So we've gone from Russia obviously holding some territory right in Ukraine to now Ukraine now invading a part of Russian territory in Kerch, however you pronounce it, right? I don't know what's going on here, right? But this war is becoming just too much now. Okay, so on one end, apparently Ukraine is losing. If they're losing, how are they able to evade Russia? So is Russia as powerful as we all thought they were? I thought they had one of the strongest armies in the world. What is going on here in this war, Mr. Theowaf? Because you're very well known in Russia-Ukraine affairs. How's that even possible? What's going on, bro?
I've known this for the last 2 years. The Russian army is a paper army. If it were really that great, then Kiev would have fallen within the first 2 weeks. It did not. Anything that happened afterwards just showed how weak and ineffective and actually a paper army the Russian army was. Basically, it's corrupt. What the generals stated that they had when the actual capabilities were a bunch of propaganda crap from them, and they cannot properly invade. They don't have a proper military. The issue with the Russian army is it doesn't have combined arms. Plus, it doesn't have the ability to transfer leadership effectively within a group, so that if the group commander is taken out, they can make another decision without somebody else leading them. Ukrainian troops can, because they're trained by NATO. Actually, they're trained by the CIA. So it's just a question of time. The Russians have lost well over 700,000 troops so far. The injuries are well over 1 million. They're in deep trouble, and this is why they can't defend themselves now from this incursion into Kursk. And if they're able to do that, they're going to spread to other areas very soon. So this is an issue. I'm keeping my eye on it. Apparently, only 1,000 Ukrainian troops were necessary to take over 500 square miles of Russian territory. That's amazing. That means that the Russian military is actually very weak right now. And the process of, I can't say it correctly. It's weakening. The process of allowing your enemy to weaken themselves. It's the defenestration. Somebody in the chat help me. I can't say it, but I want to say deforest, but it's not deforest. It's another word, but it's DEFE. That process has been very effective by Ukraine, and this is probably going to lead to the downfall of Russia.
Flipping heck! So, Theo, Russia isn't going to win this war. I think what we're seeing here so far. No. I think they're not going to win this war. So do you think they're going to hold out for a stalemate, or they're waiting for the presidential election? Because I don't think they're going to win this war, Phil. Because it's very rare to just have your territory invaded like that, but during war.
They've won the propaganda war, though. This is the issue. They're winning the propaganda war. So I know quite a lot of Ukrainians. I talk to them daily. And their view is that Russia is number one, and they are really in control. And what you're seeing, like something like this is made up. And reality is that they would have a better future and opportunity if they actually joined Russia. I have seen this heard this time and time again from my Ukrainian friends. It is horrible. So we'll just have to wait this one out. That's all I can say. Also, Russia is waiting for the GOP to get elected because, the GOP doesn't want to fund the war anymore. So this is like a World War II tactic. Stalin was losing World War II, and he just waited for the West to get into it and give money so that he could actually fight the war against the Nazis. Well, it's the same kind of idea. Putin now is waiting for the GOP to come in to remove funding from Ukraine, and then Ukraine will fall. So Ukraine has, I would say, 6 months top.
Six months top. What for until they lose the war, or 6
They
months
have
top?
They have to complete this. They have to complete it. They have to do something, and get some sort of effect, because I don't see Kamala Harris winning at all. And if there is a change of government in the United States, most of its funding for the war is from the United States. So Europe doesn't have the funds to actually really support this. So then Russia just has to wait, build its military back up, and go complete the job.
Flipping heck! Wow. All right. We'll see what happens. We're checking this very closely, and yeah, we're against war, and I hopefully this gets sorted out ASAP. Okay.
Yep. Yep. All right, hands off to the Ukrainian fighters. They're amazing. They have really done well. I mean, they shouldn't be. Ukraine shouldn't exist right now. It really should not. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this at all. Like, I don't know how many. Like, that's what I say this a little bit. I don't know how many Ukrainian friends I had. Like when Russia invaded in 2022, they told me they need help, and I was sending money to them so that they become refugees in Europe. So I helped 6 Ukrainians actually go to Europe and be refugees, and I was helping them every month, right? So transferring money over to them, just help them out, because I didn't want them to be killed or sexually assaulted. That was what was going on. And now, almost 2.5 years later, we kind of having a stalemate, but the reality is that Ukraine shouldn't exist. Russia should have taken every inch of land over by now. So hats off to those Ukrainian men. They did a great job.
Awesome. All right, so let's react to this one over here, okay?
Crazy, like it's crazy. Like, I don't understand what this school of thought is. Like, how can you just have hate in your heart for no reason? Like, I don't get it. Like, you want everyone to go back. It's not as simple as just go back to your country. We're born here. I'm born here. Like, listen to my accent. I was born around the corner, 10 minutes down the road. So where do you want me to go back to? This is home. Whips Cross. I live on St. James Street. So where do you want me to go back to? I don't get it. And if you look down your lineage, their grandparents probably came from, I don't know, maybe Germany or Scotland or Ireland or whatever. Maybe because they might be white or whatever, but it doesn't mean that you have a divine right to be here. And maybe the reason why some of our parents are here is because there's better opportunities here. Our countries were invaded years ago. Like, it's not a simple solution as just everyone go back. So
yeah. So obviously, brothers, you heard about the whole UK riots in the past couple of weeks. A lot of black men are walking around in fear, in their homes right now. And this black man has mentioned that this is his home. UK is his home. Now, a lot of people want to kick out black people from the UK, etc., etc. But guess what? We ain't going nowhere. Obviously, if you're a passport bro, you do want to leave, but you probably still have, you have citizenship right in your home country. But in the general gist of things, right, no one can say to us that, hey, leave the country, you're not from here. If you're born in the UK, if you're raised in the UK, if you pay taxes in the UK, you belong in the UK, right? And, it's a shame that in 2024, right, that black men have got to be walking around in fear, thinking in fear, and trying to justify why they belong in a country that they were born to. Bia, what's your thoughts here on this brother's comments?
I agree with him. I'm surprised that a black person in the UK is speaking like this, particularly one who has been in the UK for a long time. It's very obvious he was born in the UK. He's a Brit. That's a British guy right there, right? And he acts just like the white Brits act. They're just like, one of the things I learned about in the UK is that basically, particularly if you've been there for a long time, if you're a Brit, you're a Brit. Your race doesn't matter. You're just a Brit. And that's the way I've always looked at it. And he's one of them. Having people say for him to go back is absolutely deplorable and appalling. The English should know better than to talk that way. So it's very bad if they're doing that, but it's probably a manifestation of economic plight within certain communities within the UK, and they have to go deal with that. So I don't know, maybe have less taxes, more investment, stuff like that, actually work on the economy. That's what the British actually need, because the British economy is just way too stagnant as far as I'm concerned. So that's what I would say.
There's like thousands upon thousands of white Brits, living in Spain as pensioners right now. Okay,
yeah.
How do you think they would feel if the Spanish said, "Go back to UK. You don't belong here"? It's the same thing they're doing to us here in the UK. You got Brits in Spain, Brits in France who retired there, Brits in South Africa, all over the world, right? White Brits. Okay, so that's my problem here. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want to be all over the place. They want to have everything, but we can't have nothing. Nah. Nope.
No,
This is the 1950s. This is the 1950s. We're coming for not only the check, but we're coming for our respect too. Break it down for us, Phil.
Well, I say not the check, but respect, yes. Again, see, this is why it's so baffling to me, because white British people were responsible for me getting ahead in IT. That's why I always say I have a debt of gratitude to white British people, and some of them are still some of my best friends that I have. I would not have my career without them. So, whatever is going on, they should know better. What if this person? This looks like a very peaceful person. If he's having an issue with people saying bad things to him, they should, change their behavior. Something's going on. I don't know what's going on in the UK. I can't. You're there. You know better than I do. But I just think usually the English don't act this way. So something's wrong. Something is out of whack. I don't know what it is.
I've been getting weird looks all week, Phil. Last week, weird looks, bro. From not only white people, but Indians and Asians too. So I'm on my P's and Q's, but I'm alert, because you ain't gonna run upon me. I'll tell you that. I'm gonna defend myself. Don't try it. Don't flip and try it.
Well, let's speak.
I'm peaceful. I'm a bro. I'm a passport bro. I'm just doing my thing. So don't try it, man. But I'm getting a lot of weird looks, Phil, recently. And I hate it, bro. But I got to keep on moving forward, bro.
Well, it's because you do Python and you don't do Java and Go, so they don't like you. That's why. So if you would just, I'm sure you'll do Python at Azure, right? Well, they do like Go and GCP, so they don't like you because of that. Or maybe they saw you with an Irish girl or something like that. They really don't like it. I don't know.
I know it's the white girls like that, bro. I love my black queens and my Asian queens. No white chicks.
You need like, okay, so why don't you do like AI and Python? Because that's what my course is going to go into. It's going to go into AI and Python. Why don't you do that? Get a job in the States, work remote, and go to Panama, Colombia, or Brazil. Then you'd have it. But full well as well as I know, where you are in Britain right now and the way you are never going to be able to become a successful passport bro in the current situation in the current British system. It's not going to work. So the best you have is a few weeks of holiday per year where you can go someplace else. So you need to get out of the UK.
Facts. Absolute facts, bro. Soon come.
What else can I say? I'd get out of there if I were you. I like the middle of London. I like the buying vinyl there. I like doing that kind of stuff. I leave. I like the cabbies. Like I like the food. I actually like the food in the middle of London. It's actually rather good for a week. You know, I gained weight, but I like it. Yeah, it's fun. But you gotta leave. You gotta go. You gotta go. That's the way it is.
Soon come, bro. Shout out to Mr. Malik Query for the support. I agree with Theo. It's going to take more than a check, more like checks and balances in our community. Awesome. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Young London too for the support. Thank you, bro, for the support. Much appreciated. UK brother in the house. What's your thoughts on taking England to the United Nations, sorry, like Malcolm X was going to do before he was assassinated? I think we should try. I don't know, bro. I think the United Nations, that they're controlled too by the powers that be. They work for Europe. You know, I've given up hope, you know, going through these white-owned systems. These white-owned systems, brother, they all work together to oppress black men in Africa and the Caribbean. So the United Nations won't help us with Jack, bro, in my opinion. You know, they won't, bro. It's just how the system is. So next one to react to.
You're not going to make anything with that. It's just, okay, what's going to happen? So the Russians already exploited that. They already showed like what a lie it is for racial reconciliation in the West. And the Russians showed that in the 50s and 60s. They did a great job at the UN and nothing happened. So, I mean, what more do you expect? Just get out. I mean, do you see how they treated Andre? When you look at his streams, oh my God. Guys, you just got to get out. You got to become the path. You really won't be happy, particularly as a black Western man, until you leave the West. Then you'll be like, I'm thrilled. That's just the way it is. Things work abroad. You know, the reason why you're so miserable is because you're seeing the situation. Now, if you got a reparations check and you're able to go abroad and invest abroad, well, that's tempting. But yeah, us who are going abroad, who are passport bros, we are the educated ones. We're the ones who are making proper decisions. Most of the people ain't going to do that.
Okay, let's try the next one over here. Wow.
First of all, hi. So I'm currently cleaning house, out with the old and with the new, manifesting a new wardrobe, inshallah. I have no idea how this is going to look. I have contractual obligations, clothes to wear, posts to do, bills that have to be paid, and, you know, showing up the best I can, right? Because I know that it's not going to be perfect. I know that people may have a gripe. I mean, my arms are out, right? First of all, it's hot, and then I sweat like a puddle under my armpits. Not an excuse, but looking into Botox under my arms and finding clothes that are more aligned with where I'm headed, even if it's not to the book perfect. That's what this is all about for me, as I'm just going to show up and give my best. And every day my best gets better.
So we all know who this woman is. Okay, very popular social media star, right? Who is suddenly a Muslim woman. And I don't know what's going on in the West. So we know her history. You know, we know what she's done. We know the dude she's dealt with, what she said. Now she's a wholesome Muslim. I'm just perplexed here. This is why we avoid Western women in any shape or form, because, you know, also, so I'll give you an example, right? So in the church, right, I've been coming across some chicks, right, who are 38, 37, 35, and they're all happy to be single. And I'm thinking, how are you guys single? How are y'all chicks single? What were you doing from 21 all the way to 28, 29? They must have been rent through, bruv. They were running through dudes. You see? That's why just because a woman's religious don't mean she's wholesome. Do your background and research. Ain't that right for you? Break it down for us, bro.
I agree with you, IP. I'm just laughing. I didn't think this was true. I had seen some clips about this. I thought this was just a rumor. So I was watching the Olympics. I was watching other things, and you just showed it right to my face. So I'm just laughing. I'm just like, how typical. I don't know. For a second there, I was like, let's go get Black Muslim real quick. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna do my student like that. Like he deserves better. Guys, how typical is this? You got the 304 who becomes religious, wants her past wiped away from her, and then wants to marry a wholesome guy like us. Guys, we deserve better. Don't even fall for this crap. It's part of the reason why we're not in religious organizations so much, because they're filled with women like this, and we're done. We're done. So it's a part of dual mating strategy. What a woman is trying to do is get the hottest guy to breed with when she's young, and then she's trying to get the most successful guy when she's older. So she has the good genes with the hot man, and then she gets the education from the intelligent man later on. That's for her child. So again, it's their strategy, dual mating strategy. Guys, you can't fall for it. You just can't. Don't even try. 304 is a 304. It's just the way it is. Yeah. Use your passport to go someplace else.
Facts, bro. And I'm at a point where a religious Western woman, okay, whether she's Christian or Muslim, is just as bad as a streetwalker. Let's keep it real. A religious a woman in the West who's religious, be careful. They're all the same. They're all the same. Go for a foreign religious woman who wasn't born and raised in the West. That is your best bet if she's religious. If she's religious and she's over a certain age, I'd be very careful here. And she's not married. She's not in a relationship. That's a red flag. She's been ran through. She's had her fun. She's back in the church, back in the mosque, trying to find a simp. Don't be that dude.
No, man. How about, I don't know. How about she get married to a white guy who would take that as a form of reparation? Because we're taking it off of her hands. Oh, I'm so bad today. Yeah. IP, what IP just said is entirely correct. Guys, don't fall for it, all right, guys?
Don't fall for it, brothers, man. Don't fall for it. All right, so next one to react to, okay? Okay, let's react to this one over here, okay?
The dating world as a girl in her early 20s in 2024 is absolutely horrible. It is actually comical now because it's like, I don't even know what people want anymore. On guys' side, they'll be like, girls are bops these days, blah, 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 blah. On girls' sides, we're like, they're not even showing interest at all in anything. I personally think the whole dating to marry thing went way too far, and that's probably what a lot of it has to do with. Because now everyone doesn't want to put a label on anything because they're like, well, I don't want to get too serious and like, I don't know if you're one I want to marry. Well, yeah, you shouldn't know that before you're dating someone. In my mind, I'm like, the whole point of dating someone is to get to know them. It doesn't mean you have to like tie yourself down for life. Like for me, I just don't have the energy to talk to multiple people, to date multiple people. But like if I'm pursuing one person, I'm going to be pursuing them. But I'm not like, we don't have to start talking about marriage on the first date or anything like that. What's so confusing for me is like right now, I have had guys like, they'll hit me up, like they'll show interest first. They'll be liking my stories, whatever, hit me up and we'll start talking and like, maybe even for like a day, like we'll just like have conversation going back and forth. They'll call me cute, like flirting, whatever. Like nothing out of the ordinary. I don't even ask to hang out, like nothing. And then they just ghost. And I'm like, you showed interest first.
Theo, what's your thoughts on this lady's comments here in terms of why dating is so bad for her, why men aren't showing interest, her frustrations here? What's going on with the modern Western woman in 2024, like her?
This is well deserved. This is exactly what they deserve, this kind of situation. after the hell they have put Western men through the last 60 years, these women deserve exactly what they get. So I have no mercy for them at all. I have no compassion, no empathy. I'm done. Gentlemen, especially people who are listening to this stream, use your passport and go abroad and date women who come from families, solid families, who date with intention, and who are secretly hoping to marry you and give you children. That's where you want to go. Go that route. Don't. This kind of woman, she's great for comedy. She should be on Saturday Night Live. That would be great. All right? This isn't the kind of date you want to have.
Facts, absolute facts. And I want to encourage Western men to keep not showing interest. Your interest should be IT certs, fields, conclave, my Python course, IT, and thinking abroad and setting up, establishments abroad and building yourself up career-wise and personal development-wise. Don't waste your breath. Don't waste your thoughts. Don't waste your time on Western women. I mean it. It's over for them. It's over, right? They may not say it now, but in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, it's going to be over, right? And when robots come out, when AI gets more advanced, these chicks here will be an afterthought mixed with the foreign chicks too. I can't wait, bruv. I really can't wait. No more Western chicks. It's over. Get your passport. Really, get your passport. Awesome. Okie dokie. Shout out to, let me read super chats here. Shout out to Mr. Jason Anderson for the support. Appreciate you, bro. I know a few brothers that do very well in tech, and most of them go to great schools, all 100K plus. Get those certs and master tech. They can't keep you out. Then get out of the West, especially now that Trump won't win. Ooh, Trump won't win? Okay.
Okay. All right, sure.
Okay, interesting. Thank you for the super chat there, Jason. Shout out to Mr. Austin Holman. Thank you, bro, for the support. Much appreciate, Austin. First of all, I am very fluent in Portuguese. Second, the fact that everything could be going good, and the minute a short white guy shows up, we're all told says a lot. I agree. I've never said. I've always said that. The dating scene ain't fair. I've seen scrawny looking white dudes, right, who look like they woke up a minute earlier, right, hair all messed up, right, dressing in dirty, wearing dirty Air Force Ones, and they're walking around with beautiful Asian women. And I'm thinking, what? I'm out here, I'm clean cut, I got a nice haircut, I'm looking sharp, looking clean, I'm educated, and these Asian chicks in the West, right, won't even give me a second look. It's a fact.
So when I was in Russia, I was the only black guy in my church and in my university. I went to St. Petersburg State University, number 2 university in Russia. I went out with a sexy blonde. The white guys around me could not get her. I got her. When I was in France, there were plenty of white guys at the Sorbonne. I went out with a sexy Syrian. They did not. I had no problems. When I was in Japan, there were white guys around, Aussies, lots of them, Kiwis. I went out with the sexy Japanese girls. I didn't have any problem at all. Language goes very far. Being fluent in the language goes really, really, really far, and that's what I am. So I can read, write, communicate, do everything. I do not need English at all. Never use it at all when I'm abroad. I only use those languages, and made jokes, knew what I was doing. Yeah, it's good. So, yeah, again, of course, you want to say that you're fluent in Portuguese. I'm fluent in Japanese. See these kind of books? These are the books that I read. Like, this is how I do it. I study source material. I study IT directly in Japanese. So I don't need English at all. If you're actually functioning in that manner, white guys showing up is not going to be an issue for you. It's going to be a 0. So I always say, make sure you are aware of what you want and are confident of yourself, and you'll be just fine. You won't even think about white guys.
So shout out to Austin again for the support. Appreciate Austin for the support and supporting the channel. Kind of brings some discredit to the idea that you need to be an advanced speaker of other languages when that can be ruined in 1 second instead of creating a new business or corporation. Interesting.
No, I've always used my languages very effectively. I never had to worry about being ruined in a second. No, I had good business process. So I had my own company in Japan, and we did well until I screwed it up. So that was, again, my decisions. It was what I decided. That's why I had a failure. It had nothing to do with race or anything else. It had to do with my thinking, 100%. Being the advanced speaker goes extremely well, goes extremely far. Us guys in Japan who spoke the language, we did well. I had plenty of black male friends, the former GIs who were fluent in Japanese, read, write, converse, everything. They went out with the sexiest Japanese women. They were phenomenal. We didn't care about white guys. We just did not care at all. They're there. It was the same thing for me in Europe. Same thing for me in Brazil. I never had a problem. I mean, I'm not the best looking guy, especially now. And I still got the girls that I wanted to have. It wasn't an issue.
Okay, let's write the next clip. All right, so this one here, let's react to the earthquake in Japan, because I think it's we need to discuss what. Actually, we did that after. Let's react to another woman here. Let me bring up this one here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
High value men cheat. And really that they've earned the right to cheat. And the reason they've earned the right to cheat is that men that learned how to sleep with women, and I don't like that. I don't even like saying this. Okay, don't. but the men that learned how to sleep with women have gone through so much work that really, I don't think women can really fathom how much work men put in to learn how to be attractive to us. They get in the gym, they learn how to talk to us. It's like a decade of work just learning how to be attractive to women. Now, I'm not saying they should or they shouldn't. I'm just saying this is what it is. I mean, right? We can't fathom, right? Can't fathom, right? You know, so when men have that skill, it is very difficult for them to just put it away and not use it. It's very difficult. They're like, I just learned this superpower.
That's facts, you know. Phil, let's discuss that, Phil, because so there's a dude, right, that's 20 years old, okay, and then he begins his IT career. He's getting no woman. Women don't want anything to do with him. Women around his age are with dudes that are 32, 29, 35, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And we have this 20-year-old young man who's getting no chicks. He's angry. So he self-improves for the next couple of years until he's 25. He's hitting the gym. He gets his IT certs. He becomes educated, more wiser. He may grow a beard or whatever. He finds a haircut that suits him. When he's 25, he's got his certs. He's earning 120K a year. He's reaching his full potential, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And women are noticing him. women notice how he dresses. He's in the gym. He's got muscles. He's got money. He's essentially a high value man, right? Okay. Should he, right, be committed to one chick to the rest of his life, brother? Okay. Or should he actually exercise his new superpowers? He can just, date different women, right? He can be a bachelor, right? Because Theo, it's hard for men to get women in general, if we keep it real. It's hard. It's actually pretty hard, Phil. We have to have game. We have to have, we have to be smooth talking. We have to dress a certain way. We have to, be confident. Where women just got to look pretty. Just look pretty. Just wear that nice bright yellow summer dress. wear some lipstick, and guys be after you. Well, for us dudes, right, we gotta have everything. We gotta have money. We gotta wear a suit. We gotta have a nice haircut. We gotta have a beard, muscles. So, what's your thoughts there, Theo?
Yeah, this is one place where I definitely disagreed with Kevin Samuels. And my point was, if you become a high value man and you actually develop yourself in that way and you actually are successful, then you might play the field for a short period of time, but it's better for you to be devoted to one woman because you're going to build with that one woman and you'll become more successful with her. If you're playing the field, you're just diluting your time and resources and you're not building. So it might feel good for a while, but it's temporary. It's better to just have one. And then, of course, when the women don't like this, I would say, yeah, get her as young as you possibly can. So if you're 32, date a 21-year-old like that. That actually makes sense. Yeah. But if you're 41, date a 21-year-old. Like, go as young as not 18. Don't do the teenager range, but I would say like 21, 22 to 25. Go in that age range as fast as you can. Don't date women above 30. Yeah, I disagree with going out with a lot of women and also, playing the field. I just disagree with this fundamentally. If you've been building yourself for all of these years, then you're probably rather disciplined. So why do it? However, I have to admit, I have this issue with my students. So they study with me for a year and a half, and they're making $150,000 to $200,000 a year, and then they go abroad, and I hear stories, right? And I tell them, I say, if you get hit for child support, only thing you did was study to make another woman richer in another country, or what are you doing? Like, that's not the way it is. I said, well, I worked really hard. And I was like, well, I was MGTOW monk 10 years. And I'm not going around saying that I have to hit every woman in Brazil. That's not, or go to Ukraine and invade the country in another way. Don't do that. Like, I'm still building, and I recognize that going after multiple women just dilutes my value. And I'm not going to do that.
Damn. Great point there, Theo. Awesome. Okay, so next one to react to. Let's react to this one over here. Okay.
冷めるってことなんかありますか？異性のこんな行動に冷めるってことなんかありますか？
Actually, no, not this one. Sorry, not this one. Remove from studio.
I like that one.
you remember
何
that
これ何やもう大好きだよね。すごくよかった。何やこれもう。
できますか？
でも
This one, okay.
ハゲている方とお付き合いはできますか？
でもあんまりめっちゃ好きだったら関係ないと思います。
でも私は結構センター分けとかそういう髪型が好きなので、めっちゃ合えばって感じですけど、ちょっと気になりはするかな。
髪型が大事なんですね。ハゲている金持ちか髪のある一般男性付き合うならどっちですか？
ハゲでもやっぱイケメンはいると思うので、ハゲてても高収入でいいと思います。
私も高収入の方。
高収入。ハゲてる方にしてほしい対応は何かありますか？
中途半端になんか生えてるよりは剃るとか帽子で隠した方が見栄え的にはいいかなって思います。
で中途半端よりは完全にスキンヘッドにしてもらった方がっていう感じです。
じゃあウィッグとかどうですか？
全然似合ってればいいと思います。
全然嫌ではないです。
なるほど、参考になりますね。国籍によってハゲてる男性のイメージって変わりますか？
なんか日本のハゲはあんまりいいイメージないけど、外国人のハゲは気になったこと言われてみればないなって。
確かにあんまり外国人にハゲっていう概念を感じたことはないかもです。
ハゲっていう概念がない。
Theo, I've often heard about that Japanese women don't like men who are bold, right? Maybe that's changing, but these women have mentioned that they don't deal with Japanese dudes who are bold. But if you're a foreigner and you're bold, then that's cool. So, Phil, two questions for you, right? You've lived in Japan for over 10 years, right? Number
16.
one, 16 years, okay? Awesome. So, how do Japanese chicks on average, the ones you dealt with when you spoke out there, right? How do they feel about bold men? And number two, do you think that we as Western men particularly black men, we have privilege here because we're Western and we're foreign? And they mentioned that if you're a foreign dude, bald head is okay. And for you know that, right? Out of all the races of men on planet Earth, black men rock bald head the best. Everyone knows that, Phil. Black men rock bald head the best. So could that be an advantage for us when we date Japanese chicks? Do we rock up out there with a bold haircut? Break it down for us, bro.
I just hold on. Okay, I just sent you a message. The back chat. When I went bald in Japan, that's where I got the most looks. I mean, when I did bald again, I started going bald in Russia because I couldn't explain how to do a flat cut or a crew cut in 1993. I couldn't explain it in Russian. So I just decided to go bald because I could say that in Russian. And I've never looked back. I've always done very well with a bald cut. When I dated my blonde in Russia, I was bald. When I dated the Syrian in France, I was bald. All the time I dated all the Japanese, the Filipinos, the Thai, I was bald the entire time. I just sent you a photo. Right?
Did
you look?
Yeah,
go ahead, share it.
Okay. So
yeah,
this is Theo Bold in Japan, right? Okay, hold on, bro. All right,
Yeah.
so let me just stop sharing here and let me share the screen. What's going on here? Share screen, and it should be this one over here. So this is Theo, right? This is you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there I am. So that is me on my wedding day. And you see, I am bald. And there's my Japanese wife. All right. And just so you know, again, for people who are talking about white guys, my Japanese wife was very happy to marry a black guy. And she said that she had always wanted to be with a black guy. And I was the first and only black guy that she was with. So, hey, that resulted in a marriage right there, resulted in, a wedding ring. So there are plenty of women in Japan who want black guys. I just want to say that people saying, well, the white guy comes in. No, there are women there who were like, hey, I want dreads. I want a tall bald black guy like I was, like other black men were. It's not an issue. That she did very well with me. I think I did well with her too. It wasn't so much of a fetish or anything. Again, my Japanese wife right there. This is at our house. This is at our home in Japan. She did not speak English at all, so we spoke in Japanese only. We were married in Japan. I have a permanent visa to Japan. She never had a green card at all. She did not want to come to America. She wanted to stay in Japan. I had to make a promise to her father that I would not take her to America, which I did. So I just want to say that. King Taos is marrying a 21-year-old is bad advice. I didn't say marrying a 21-year-old. I said be with a 21-year-old. Date her for a while. In this photo, how old do you think she is? If you can look at it.
Okay, I say, bro, she looks around. I go with 26.
Oh, really? I'll take that. I like that. 26. Okay. So she's 30.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm 28 and she's 30. And I had just gotten my CISSP, and my salary had gone from $85,000 a year to $120,000 a year in Tokyo. $120,000 a year as 28 years old is unbelievable in Japan. It does not happen that often. So I had a really great salary, and she was happy. And I remember we had just moved into an apartment together, and the parent-in-laws were all happy. It was great. It was a wonderful day. So I'm very happy for my marriage that I had with her. She's a wonderful woman. So again, I was 28. She is 30. I had no problem dating someone who was older, and we got married in less than a year of meeting each other. All right, that's dating with intention. That's how that works. And I had 120,000. It's rare for some 28-year-old to have 128,000, 6 feet tall, black. You think that I'd be going around banging chicks all the time? No. I got married and I built with her. And 2 years after this photo, I was at $250,000.
Damn. Yo, salute to Phil, man, making boss moves, man. Wow.
Boom.
Brother, that is a fantastic photo, man.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic photo. Wow.
Yeah. She didn't want a white guy. I met plenty of women in Japan who did not want white guys. They wanted black guys. Especially Yokohama. Oh yeah, they really wanted black guys. Well, they do the culture. So again, for people to come on here and say like white guys, blah blah blah, like come on, man.
Let me read a super chat. Phil got some. Shout out to Brian Michael for the support. Thank you, brother, for your hard work. Hope to connect soon. Question for you both: Thailand or Panama for long-term investment to move to? That's a great question, Bobby. I probably have to do a stream on that actually.
Panama.
I was about to say Panama. Why Panama, bro? From your
better ability to have investments. Yeah, it's easier to own property, either to gain assets.
Facts. Panama is great for Americans, Brian. I was there last year. I met a lot of American brothers out there in Panama living a good life, and of course they were with dime Latina chicks. Oh my goodness, Panama is slept on. Go to Panama, bro. If I had any choice out of all the Latin American countries, I'd be in Panama. I love that place, man. Shout out to Austin Holman for the support again. Salute to Austin, third time today. Thank you both for the support. That was before social media and a global pandemic, and also she's almost a leftover woman.
Yeah, she's 20. I married her when she was 30. Look, Austin, when I was your age, I was able to read and write 3,000 kanji. All right, I was in Japan. I had a working visa. I was with the Japanese all the time. I was working for a Japanese company. When I went to Japan, I had a one-way ticket. I didn't have any intention of returning back. It was one way. I suggest you do the same. Go get the kanji. Go get it. Go learn to speak Japanese perfectly. Don't use a translator. Nothing. Be able to write all 3,000 kanji from memory, just using a pen and paper. Like that's what I had to do in grad school. And go meet a Japanese woman and go date, and go find it out. You'll find out. I did. I had no problems with it.
Awesome. All right, next one to react to. So let's react to this one over here.
So they never. How do you make your boyfriend happy so they never forget about you?
I give them head. If you know, you know.
If I know, I know.
Yes.
Briefly, like introduce yourself.
Good looking, smile, and good take care, do everything. You don't need to do anything. I will do everything for you.
I didn't know that. Where are you from?
Thailand.
Do you like to drink?
Not too much. I like to talk and dance, like have a quality time together more.
What's your favorite drink?
Cocktail.
Okay, got it. You got.
Wow. So, woman here from Thailand, right, who looks like she's every dude's dream, right? Submissive in a certain act, ready to please her man, okay? She's bubbly, she's funny, she's smiling, okay? Theo, I know you're a huge fan of Thailand. I think you mentioned that you prefer Thailand women over Japanese chicks. And I know you love your Japanese chicks, right? I'm guessing when you see a clip like this, Theo, right? That's the reason why you put Thai chicks over Japanese chicks with a woman like this, right? Keep it real with me, Phil. Don't come up with some.
Remember, Japanese mothers educate their daughters how to please husbands. So Yeah, Japanese women are gonna come prepared. That being stated, Thai women are even further than Japanese women, and they're definitely more exotic, and they're just fun. I would just say that they're hyper feminine. So I love their femininity. I loved how they treated me. I loved making out with them. I got it straight out. Keep it 100%. They were amazing. I was crazy about them. If you guys are in this room right now, the pin-up woman that I have right in front of me is Thai. To this day, she is the most beautiful woman that I have ever seen in my life. Yeah, I would if I had the opportunity to marry her, I would do it in a second. Like, boom, right then and there. She's hot. She's totally gorgeous. It's a preference, I can think. That's it. They are just very fun. I like Thai women quite a bit.
So would you say the ideal woman for you, brother, would be a half Thai, half Japanese woman, best of both worlds, right? Did you come across that in Japan? And were they checking for brothers? Did they like black men?
They like black men. Oh God, yeah. I have to keep things under Patreon. There's things I can't say here. Let's just say they told me directly they liked black. They liked it.
Half black. So this is half Thai, half Japanese chicks.
No, these are Thai. These
in
are
Japan.
Thai chicks. Yeah.
Okay.
No, right now I'd have to go all in with Thailand, or just do like Japanese Brazilian or Brazilian, something like that. Yeah, because I go a little crazy with Thai. Yeah, so I dated Thai women, of course, you guys know from the podcast. After I lost my Japanese wife, I was with Thai women for a period of time, and yeah, I went absolutely cuckoo with them, both in Japan and in Thailand. I had never known that women could be that good. So they're very addictive. So yeah, black men and Thai women go really well together. All right.
Fantastic. Let's get 1 million black men over to Thailand by the end of 2025. Let's do it.
There is a community over there. I've been talking to Zoom to Thailand. He's going to be at the conclave. And of course, I've been talking to him about moving to Thailand, to Pattaya. I'm kind of taking it with a grain of salt. I mean, I kind of would like it, but I just like Rio so much more. So I don't know. If I meet the one, or if I meet somebody over there, I go absolutely crazy. Who knows? I might stay. There's an increasing level of black men right now in Thailand compared to when I was there previously.
Awesome. So let's react to some sad news in Japan this week. Earthquakes. Okay. The flip? What's going on there? Whoa. Oh, that's insane. Hold on. One more clip on Japan. Hold on. Present video file. And this one over here. Flipping heck. Yo. Damn, look at that moving. Damn. Japan. Yo, what's going on? Damn. Look at that.
Miyazaki. Okay, Miyazaki. That's where it's at. Okay.
Damn. Fukuoka. So, brothers, now on this channel, Japan is a very popular passport bro destination, right? But I think we need to discuss the fact that the natural disasters in Japan, right, is something that we gotta take into account if we want to move out there permanently as passport bros. Japan is obviously on the sea. It's an island, and not only does it come with earthquakes, it comes with strong winds, it comes with tsunamis. Okay, so from a geographical perspective, it ranks kind of low, right, for safety when it comes to environmental safety and natural disasters. Brother, as passport bros, is this something that we have to take into account? And could this stop passport bros from moving to Japan in the future because of the earthquakes? What's your thoughts?
No, it should stop you. There are 4 fault zones in Japan. That's why they have so many. There's just a lot of earthquakes there. And I remember 6s in Japan. 6s spooked me out. I did not like them. Yukiko would always laugh at me when I got spooked out.
6s, the NFL team.
No, the 6s. There's that. You're seeing a 7.1. I had a few 6s in Tokyo.
Oh,
5s, 5 and 6. Like I know that's what the numbers are. So I didn't. I was okay with a 5, but a 6 really spooked me out. I did not like it. I wouldn't want to go outside. I was really scared. But Yukiko was like, "What's wrong with you, you big American? You have a problem with the 6? It's nothing." So it was really funny. Her family had gone through an 8, and they said it was no big deal. Yeah, the buildings are built well. You know, they're not going to be anything. The Japanese are used to it. You get the good and the bad. Yeah, just don't worry about it, guys. Japanese women are wonderful. You get used to it. You just, just like 40 seconds of shaking, then you're go back. It's fine. Yeah. Don't allow it to mess with you. Yeah.
So it shouldn't interrupt your travel plans if you're planning to move out to Japan to live there and work there.
No, it shouldn't interrupt it at all.
Okay. Awesome. All right, next one to react to. Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master for the support. Korea, Japan, MN. Awesome, bro. Thank you for the support. Shout out to Yu-Gi-Oh! Master again, filling out my passport application while watching this piece. Nice one, bro. Well done. Making moves. Shout out to Mr. Brian Michael for the support. Second time tonight. Thank you, Brian, for the support. Much appreciated, Brian. Thank you very much. Good to know. I speak advanced intermediate Spanish. I need to get out New York in the next few years. My father retired in Pattaya 3 years back. So they're based in between Thailand and Latin America.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Brian. I understand it so much. Like, again, I love Thailand. I absolutely love Thailand. I also love Brazil. The main reason why I'm choosing Brazil is I find more of a purpose with building a community of Black men there, particularly passport bros. And it's easier for me to get to Chicago area to fly there. It takes about 10 hours more to fly there from Thailand. That being stated, I'm going to go there this December. I'm going to Zoom Fest with Zoom to Thailand. If I fall in love with that country again, if I meet somebody, it's game over. That's it. I'll move to Thailand. But I'm not giving that much credence to it. I really do like Rio. It's either be Rio or Sao Paulo. That's where I really want to be at. But I love Pattaya. Again, the craziest women I was with, the women I absolutely craved, they were all Thai. They're just unreal. What can I say?
Fantastic. All right, so let's react to this one over here.
Sanctions on the US has proposed reducing sanctions on Israeli businessman Dan Cutler to facilitate his exit from DR Congo. Washington imposed restrictions on more than 30 of Cutler's businesses in 2017 and 2018. He's accused of corrupt dealings that cost DRC $1.4 billion. He reportedly sweet-talked the former ruling Kabila dynasty with $20 million for weapons to bolster their efforts to remain in power, in exchange for a monopoly on DRC's copper, cobalt, and diamond markets. So who is Dan Cutler? He's an Israeli tycoon and diamond magnate, and the grandson of Moshe Schnitzer, who co-founded the Israel Diamond Exchange in 1947. Cutler got a confetti welcome in 1997 from then-President Laurent Kabila. Investigations also revealed figures within the Israeli government like ex-Mossad chief Yossi Cohen provided assistance to Cutler on several occasions. But why is the US easing his sanctions? The idea is to tempt Cutler to sell his holdings, which, if he does, will be an opportunity for Washington to claim that its sanctions policy in Africa can be effective. But some suggest the sanctions imposed on Cutler are just a red herring and a way for the US to maintain its influence and interference in Africa and its resources.
Flipping heck. So, big questions remain here, because how is a guy gonna go up in Africa and make $1.8 billion, right, in the diamond cobalt trade in Africa? Show me an example of a black guy going to Israel, right, and making deals to make 1.4 billion in the Israel oil industry. At some point, right, something's got to give. It's got to stop. The corruption, the fact that Africans, right, African people, some of them allow foreigners to just come in, right, make a lot of money, and then their own people are suffering. I'm about tired of the nonsense that's going on, right, in the continent, in the Caribbean, in Africa. It's getting too much. We're suffering in the West. We're suffering, in America. We're suffering in the UK, and we're also suffering in our homelands. What's going on? What the hell is going on, right? $1.4 billion going to one dude that isn't even African, isn't even black African. I'm sick of the corruption. Africa needs to get its ish together, bro. Phil, what's your thoughts here, bruv?
This is why whenever you're talking about an African leader doing reforms, I just go quiet. I've seen this too many times. This didn't surprise me. The only thing that I guess that surprised me was that people were talking about it. That's it. Normally, this goes on for a long period of time. You know, people die, right? And people get paid, and that's it. I mean, is that actually a detriment to Africans in any country? So that's why I don't like it. Like, I'm not surprised at all that this is happening.
Congo has the most cobalt in the world. One of the most, actually, Congo in general is one of the most resource-rich country, right, in the entire world field. Okay, and somehow it's poverty-stricken, right? What is going on there? What is going wrong? Because I look at Saudi Arabia, I look at Kuwait, I look at Dubai, I look at flipping Bahrain, right? These are oil-rich countries, and they're first world countries. They're modernized, you know, not culturally, but in terms of I don't really care about them culturally like that. I think they should keep their traditions, but in terms of buildings, you know, in terms of infrastructure, they got nice skyscrapers. They're also, right, a population where the wealth is distributed fairly, not fairly, but the money is going to the people, to the point where in the UK they come here, they shop at Selfridges, you're right, they shop at the high-end stores. We see a lot of Arabic people come here spending their own money, okay, right? So that means the money they're making is so much that it's going to their people. Why can't Congo do that, bruv? What's going on?
How long has it been this way? After colonialism, most of the leaders who were installed into power were puppets and corrupt puppets. That's why, again, on previous podcasts, you're wondering why I'm not more optimistic because of this. I'm just not optimistic. I've seen it too many times. At least they're talking about it. If they can get rid of the corruption, good. I support that, but I don't see it happening. Let's just hope. That's it. Let's hope.
Let's hope, man. Congo, please, man. You should be the Dubai of Africa, the Dubai of Africa. And it'd be great for UK brothers, American brothers to connect with Congo brothers, spreading wealth, resources, info. That's what Chinese people do. That's what Chinese people do in China. Chinese Americans, Chinese British people, Chinese Malaysian people, Chinese Indonesian people. They all connect and click because they have that common interest of all Chinese. Come on, bruv. Flipping heck, man.
Well, Africa should be the number one continent in the world. Africa should be totally extremely rich. Europe is basically a polar backwater peninsula. It shouldn't be rich at all. It shouldn't have anything. I mean, just honestly speaking, it's not the best area. It's because of policies that Europe is rich and Africa is poor. That's it. These are policies and the ability to make policies effective. That's it. So again, my hope is for Africa long term. That'd be great. Based upon all the resources that it had, pro technology, all that kind of stuff throughout history. Yeah. Africa should be number one country, 100%. Africa should have gotten to the moon like 1,000 years ago, at least. Honestly speaking. But you know what happened. You read history, you know what's going on. Oh well. The more you know about history, the more skeptical you become. You might as well go ahead and get some Kleenex, and you cry and you see things happening and what human beings could have been, and you're like, let's just not make the same mistakes. Let's hope for the best.
Let's rest this one over here.
Sure.
What's the biggest thing you hate about?
Next question.
What's the biggest thing you hate about women?
The biggest thing I hate about women is that, that one Billie Eilish quote, she said,
"You give an ugly guy a chance, he thinks he rules the world."
That's it right there.
Okay.
You look at that statement, you see how invalid that is. As a young man coming up, you see how they're just trying to put you down, okay? Now, if the roles were reversed, this would be a cancelable offense for us.
Okay.
You understand that?
Okay.
So I think that, there are double standards, okay? And we have to look at these. We don't let this shit slide.
Okay.
Pause. Okay? We just have to realize that, if you're going to say that about us, and you expect us to not say that about you, let's take a step back. Let's look at the situation, all right? Next question.
Right.
No, good stuff from that young man. Good stuff, because over the past 10 years, actually since 2008, when Obama came in power, the demeanor of men by mainstream media, by female artists in movies, in music, in popular mainstream culture, meaning men are trash. This guy referred to Billie Eilish quote, and I'm sure you know who she is, Phil, right? Some big pop star in America. I don't listen to music. That's not my scene. I'm more sophisticated than that. So she's saying, give an ugly guy a chance, right? He thinks he rules the world. So essentially what she's saying is that, don't give an ugly guy a chance, because you're going to gas him up. Now imagine if we said that about a woman, right? Give an ugly girl a chance, she'll think she's the best, right? Who'll be cancelled. And he's right about that. So women are protected from, any sort of slander, calling them out, right? And what they are. But us men got to take it. Us men got to be demeaned. And it's all good. So it's time for these young men to rise up. Stop taking the BS from feminists and, mainstream media. You a man, bro. I'm tired of it, Theo. Because guess what, Phil? If we don't stop it right now, the poison spreads to other countries, other nations. Okay, we're gonna have our own sons, and we don't want them to go through the BS that we're going through right now as men in the West. Feel, break it down for us, Phil.
Well, I mean, I would say, guys, you got to leave the West. So first, do that. Learn the language, and go to another culture. Go someplace else, and you'll be fine. You won't have the issue. My deal with Western women is that you should only say 5 things to them: good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and goodbye. That's it. That's all you say. So if they say this stuff about you, why don't even care? These women are destined to perish alone. And this is going to be after decades of living alone. This is going to be soul crushing. And we're already seeing it with boomers. I know plenty of boomer women, older boomer women, who haven't had a man in their life over 20 years. And they're retired and they don't know what to do with their lives. They have no one. All right. So I'm just saying, guys, the Western women are going to reap what they sow. Go use your passport, go abroad, find a woman, wonderful woman, get married to her, have children, and promote yourself that way.
Absolute facts, man. So next one to react to, let's see what we got here. Okay, let's react to this one over here.
Checklist that my future. This is a comprehensive checklist that my future husband needs to check off in order to be with me. If you have any of these 3 traits, please do let me know in the comments so I can send you a polite request through DMs. Number 1, future husband has to 100% be funny. To the point where my cheeks actually hurt from laughing and smiling so much. So if that's you, please do let me know. Number 2, and I'm gonna get controversial with this one, I want a man who literally will do anything for me. I'm so sorry, I'll say it now. If I'm stuck in the Sahara Desert and I'm struggling to do something like tie a tie or something, I'm lost in the desert, and if my man doesn't come to rescue me, I'm sorry, that's not my man anymore. That's not my man anymore. Sorry, I need a man to do anything for me. If I say I want to go to the store to get Lego and we build it on a Saturday night, you're doing it with me. Number 3, I want a man who is so obsessed with gingers that I tick all his boxes. So preferably he's had to have an ex-girlfriend that's had red hair before, because there's something about a man that really does love gingers to his core that I need in my life. I've never experienced that in real life, so I'm waiting on that day, and I've got a feeling my future husband will have that. So love you, babe.
Is that a Lego over there, Phil?
Lego. So, I got the Saturn V, so if she likes Lego, hey, I'm down with that. Okay. Hey, that was a good point, honey. Okay, I like that one. She talking about gingers. Well, ginger, blue eye. She Irish?
She's English.
What, is she Irish background?
Potentially.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I know the accent is yeah, of course, she's like you, right? But yeah, I mean, that looks like Irish. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, she's beautiful, but the rest, sorry, no, pass. Not gonna happen. Sorry. If you're in Africa or something like that, and you're on a safari, and I told you not to go by yourself, and you're there alone without me, and you're calling me up because the car door is open and you're about to be eaten, I say put some honey on you, because you might as well marinate yourself before you go down and become dinner. All right? So you need to know how to act, especially with men. Men doing anything for you? No, that's not what's going on. No, we don't do that. If you're not acting within reason, if you're acting in a way to endanger us, that give us trouble, we can't deal with that. Just the way it is, honey. So no, I don't think her future husband should have to deal with that. And yeah, she is going to wake up one day. That's all I can say. She's going to be very alone.
Facts, Phil. Phil, the fact that she is all about her, me. Notice how she didn't say what she can offer men. You know, what can she offer men? So she wants that for men. What can you give up and offer to men? Nothing about that. So now you're seeing the West woman, right? It's all about her. Very, very self-centered, you know, very selfish. Her, me. When I was abroad last year in Japan, when I was abroad in Panama, delightful woman who were telling me what they can do for me, what they want in a relationship, how they can offer things to me. There's a clear, distinct difference between how these Western chicks think and how foreign women think, right? That's why we keep telling you, brothers, don't date, don't marry, don't even have sex with Western chicks. I mean that. Don't even engage with intimate relations with a Western woman. It's not worth it. Only date, marry, and have sex with foreign chicks. Right? Don't do it. Okay? Avoid Western women at all costs. It's over. They can't be saved. We don't want them anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. No conversation, nothing. They're just not worth it. Again, I agree with you what you're saying. She's not saying anything about relationship or build. It's all about her. So it's basically resource transfer to her. Attention, money, energy, everything. There's no building with her. So sorry, honey. But yeah, she's probably young. Yeah, well, actually, tell you the truth though, I'm a Gen Xer. Gen X women act the same way. So yeah, that's no. Again, boomers acted this way too. So yeah, avoid, go abroad, meet somebody well. You'll do okay.
Awesome. How long you got left? How are you feeling?
I got about 5 more minutes. I need to prepare for another meeting. So yeah.
Okay. Then let's run through 1 or 2 more clips. Let's run through this one over here.
Mostly young Nigerians to demonstrate. Thousands of mostly young Nigerians are demonstrating across the country. They are angry at bad governance and corruption and a cost of living crisis exacerbated by the removal of fuel subsidies.
Bola Tinubu has failed monumentally. Look at the exchange rate today. So what we're calling the president to do is just simple. Reverse back fuel subsidy to stabilize the economy. Take back electricity tariff. Take back educational subsidy.
The main issue at hand now is that we are hungry. We need food. We are angry. A hungry man is an angry man.
Youth say they have planned 10 days of mass protest starting from August 1st. At least 15 people have been killed in clashes with police so far.
If bullet kill me, better bullet kill me. Without hunger can't kill me. Even police, they're hungry. Even soldiers, they're hungry. They're on salary. They don't need to buy food where you go chop.
On Sunday, President Tinubu called for an end to the protests.
Suspend any further protest and create room for dialogue, which I have always acceded to at the slightest opportunity. Nigeria requires all hands on deck and need us all.
This generated mixed reactions from citizens online. Some pro-government demonstrations have also taken place, adding to the tension.
So this is Nigeria, right? Africa's biggest economy, okay? And it's going through a lot. High cost of living crisis, high poverty, a lot of angry people, okay? And these kind of actions here, okay, are reasons why immigration is a thing. Because once again, right, no one wants to be in poverty, and people who are constantly in poverty will seek better opportunities abroad, right? Now, the way Nigeria is run, this is supposedly an oil-rich country, okay? An oil-rich country, it should not be this badly run, right? We look at other oil-rich countries like Dubai, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. You can see the average person in those countries are living good. So how is Nigeria, which is the most oil-rich country in Africa and in the world, it has massive oil reserves, going through protests like this? It's just, you know, what is going on in Africa, bruv? What is going on? We are in 2024. Every year, there's some sort of protest. People are angry. Leadership is flipping awful in the Caribbean and Africa. There's got to be a change. Okay? Young people in these countries have had enough. Africa is going to have the most young population in the entire world. In the entire world. Young people ain't going to sit down there and take the BS no more. They need a functioning, developing economy that is making them money and making them live successful, prosperous lives. Break it down for us, Theo.
Yeah, I agree with you, IP. I agree this is an issue, but again, this is why I'm not surprised that there isn't a reform in Africa. It seems that the more resources an African country has, the poorer the people become. Right? There's more oppression. There's more issues. Whereas you don't have, what you would want is more resources means a better economy, a more equitable society, or at least more progression. But at bare minimum, everybody has enough to eat. Right? These people, this country, everyone should be eating well. I think that's an issue, right? I don't think the leader cares. He obviously has eaten enough. Everybody else hasn't. So, all I can say to you is I share with you the hope that Africa will change, but I'm pessimistic. You know, I think it's not going to, but I do hope it will.
Yeah, let's have some positive hope then. Hopefully they fix the cost of living crisis there in Africa and in Nigeria and all these other African countries. All right, so we move. If you got time for one more, or do I have to drop you off?
One more. We'll do one more.
Okay. All right. So let's end it on let's end it on this one over here. Okay.
だったり、ひげのある男性だったり、ひげが濃い男性とお付き合いしたことってありますか？
ないです。
男性のひげについてどんなイメージがありますか？
大人って感じですかね。
ポジティブな印象かネガティブな印象か教えていただけますか？
清潔感あればかっこいいなとは思います。
お付き合いするとしたら、ひげのある方とない方ってどっちがいいですか？
今はない方がいいですかね。
ひげの生えてる方とかひげが濃い方とお付き合いしたことってありますか？
ちょっと濃いめ。
その時っていい印象でしたか？悪い印象でしたか？
考えたことなかったです。眼中にない。
全く気にしてないっていう感じですかね。
はい、そう言われてみれば濃いかもぐらいです。
外国人のひげが生えてる方への印象と日本人のひげが生えてる方への印象って何か違ったりしますか？
全然違いますね。海外住んでたんですけど、その時に結構同僚とかひげ生えてて、でも別に何も思ったことなかったんですけど、日本人の同僚が急にひげ生やしてきた時は、みたいな、みんな言ってました。どうしたんですかみたいな感じでした。
Phil, what's your thoughts here on this bed issue that is quite popular with Japanese chicks? Bed or no bed when we go out there in Japan, bro?
Again, look at my photo. When I got married, I had no beard and no hair. Everything was shaved, right? I followed the line. I did not do anything, right? So basically, guys, I just want to say, if you go to Japan, you need to shave. I know you're trying to get hope here and have a beard. Yeah, okay. You can try that. It's not gonna go that far.
Theo, guess what, right? I'm gonna get a million brothers, right, who are all bearded. We're gonna run through Shibuya, Roppongi, Shinjuku, Ueno, Aoyama, right, Asakusa, right? All bearded, fully bearded. And these Japanese chicks, they're gonna worship us, brother, with our beards, man. They ain't gonna tell us, hey, IP, blah, 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 shave your beard. They're gonna love the beard, bro. They're gonna accept that beard. Oh, guess what, Phil? It's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. You can't tell a black man to shave his beard. No. A black man shaving his beard is the equivalent of telling a lion to shave off his mane or his hairy neck. Nah, bro, you can't do that, bro. Nah. So these Japanese chicks, they gonna change for us, bro. they're gonna change for us, bro. Big time.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, shave the beard. Damn. Especially if you work in a Japanese company, they'll take you over to the side and tell you to shave the beard.
And I'll tell them I'm a brother and we don't shave beards where we come from. So it's gonna be a problem then.
Yeah, then you're talking to HR. Okay.
Really? No.
Yeah, really. 本当にね。ヒゲなしで。Yeah, like マジでね. Yeah,
Sure.
you're gonna lose your beard. And then you're gonna have to worry about getting a visa, right? So I don't know how that's gonna go down. Yeah, you need to shave your beard. I never had a problem with this at all.
Awesome. So before we drop you off here, we got super chats. I think someone wants to thank you. Shout out to Quiet Storm DJ for the support. Thank you, brother. What's good, IP and Theo? Just wanted to tap in the brotherhood and get some real info. Demographic Party are trying to cook or by crook get KH the nomination for the head of state in November. At this point, SYBM is the best solution. Passport, bro, for life. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you, bro. Shout out to Austin Holman again for the support. Thank you also for the support Friday tonight. Much appreciated. Botswana has resources and they're not corrupt. Fantastic. Shout out to Botswana. Have you been there yourself, Austin? We want to see you out there in Botswana then this year. Okay, let us know how that goes, man. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Theo, brother, any closing statements, bro? Before you jump off.
I had a good time, actually. It was pretty good. Somebody was talking about me going to, I think, Salvador in Brazil. That's not where I would go. I only go to major cities when I travel, to be honest. I'm pretty particular about that. Especially if there's an American embassy. That's usually what I'm thinking about. I work, guys. I'm always connected to the internet. I have got to work. So I don't, if there's not a major population center with an American embassy, I usually don't go there. Just one of my little things that I do. It does limit, but I still can go to a lot of countries. Again, I had a great time. This was very fun. It was fun. It was always fun being here. Guys, regarding reparations, it'd be nice. I would like it more if they had a law or like a federal government came out and said, we apologize for slavery, or this is a human rights abuse and we know this is wrong. If they did that, at least something like that, I think that would be good. I think something needs to be stated by that. But I think that we as a group do have a right to be kind of ticked that everyone else got money, but we did not. So I understand the feeling. I do. We just have to get, how do we make that into a process? That's my point. But anyway, guys, check out IP's Python course. I'm hearing good things about it. He will be taking more students later on, not now, but later on in the future. So if you can get into a session later on, that'd be great. My AWS course starts in second week of September after the conclave. So I do look forward to seeing you guys. International. So Quiet Storm, thank you for your super chat. We're going to respect you. I always love riding with you in various broadcasts. It's very fun. Hey, have a good time, IP. Yeah, do well. I know it sucks in the UK. Yeah, man. My heart goes out to you. I know you're frustrated. You're not the only English guy I've ever talked to who's been frustrated, like you're saying. So figure it out. Figure out some way getting out. I do Python AI if I were you. You have the skill set. You're brilliant in Python. All my students say the same thing about you. You're totally brilliant. Go do AI. Get out. Make that money. You can definitely do it. Get a remote job and then get out. Go to Panama. Go to someplace else. You'll be happier. All right?
Thank you, Theo.
All right.
Appreciate you, bro.
Talk to you guys later.
Ja mata.
Ja matane.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, brothers, shout out to Theo, legend. Y'all want to call in and speak about reparations? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Now's the time. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes of calling. If no one calls in 5 minutes, we're gonna end the stream. Maybe we'll have a great upcoming week. So reparations talk. Are you for it? Are you against it? Call in, man. Call in, and let's have a great discussion. Okay, let's get it cracking, man. I will always be for reparations, man. Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, they gotta cut the check. They gotta cut the check. You know, and I'm being serious here, bruv. Cut the check. Cut the check for Black American men. Cut the check for Black English men. Cut the check for Black Australian men. Cut the check for Black African. We need those reparations, bruv. You know, I don't give a damn what anyone says. We need that check, because at this time and point, everyone's eating Chinese, Indian, and we out here, right, still suffering from the effects of slavery, and they ain't cut us no check. Cut that effing check, bruv. Jam, turn your camera on in the background, please. I know you're natural. Turn the camera off, Jam. Let me bring in Jam in the background. What's going on, Jam? How you doing, bruv?
I'm doing well. I'm writing up your script, man. I'm going to send it to you. I didn't forget.
Can you hear me, Jam?
But yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear,
can't
how you
hear me?
doing?
Okay, all right, yeah. No, I was just saying that. All right, yeah, I was just saying that I'm writing your script. I'm writing the draft, right, for the vegan workouts and the vegan meals. So I already started on that. You know, it's gonna be detailed, man. So give me some time. But I didn't forget. I actually started on it today. But I wish I could have spoken with Theo, because while what he's saying about the reparations is mostly true, and he's right about the cause. To be against reparations, I mean, that's foolish. I had a similar opinion as him at one point. I used to believe that due to the arguments of Thomas Sowell, but yeah, I no longer agree with that. But I will say that he's right in some regards, right? I mean, one, look, it is true that every other group got reparations and we didn't, and we suffered by far the most atrocities of any group. So every other group got, I mean, maybe you could say the Native Americans, right? Maybe that's the only other argument. But I mean, they're tax exempt, they got land, they got all sorts of stuff like that. We didn't get any of that. So, you know, we suffered by far the most of any group and got literally no reparations. But I do agree with him that there are things that we're gonna have to do first before we can even request reparations. And there is another thing we can do, but it's never gonna happen in this climate. So he's right about the cause, right? But I kind of don't like the way he frames it, because he frames it like it wasn't intentional, that Black people just chose wrong, and that is just simply not true, right? We know what happened here, right? With welfare, they literally, I mean, you can look this up. They literally went door to door, had CIA agents or FBI, essentially people from the government, come and check on Black families, right, that were taking a welfare to make sure that the father was in the home. They literally did that. They didn't do that for the white communities. When the white communities wanted welfare, they just gave them the welfare. They were allowed to stay with their white husband. But if you were Black and you took welfare, the father had to not be in the home. There's movies about people, like about the father low key living in the home and having to hide when the government people would come. They literally went door to door. People are just memory holding this. This literally happened. Right? This was not coincidence that they did this. They knew what this was going to happen. They knew what this was going to cause. We were once the most married group of people, and now we're not. You think that's a coincidence? No, that happened literally during the Great Society with Lyndon B. Johnson. So it's like, yeah, he's right about, okay, you can make all these changes and all that. And it's true, right? We do have, like, if you know what you're doing, right, in 2024, right? Because I mean, I grew up poor, right? I didn't have anything, and now I'm doing very well for myself. So he is right that you can make these changes, but that doesn't exist in a vacuum. There's a reason why we have commercials and advertising, because they know that it affects the populace. So you purposely make it so that there's no fathers in the home, right, for 3-4 generations, and you incentivize the women to not be with their men, right, and to look down at their men as deadbeats, right? You know, in other words, I can't say on this platform, You know, to pretend like that's not going to have an effect on the populace is ludicrous. I mean, this was intentionally done. No other race had to do this, right? When the white, and now we're seeing it, right? We're seeing it now, right? When this is applied to other races, right? The single mother rate is going up, it's shooting up. I think the white rate is like close to 40%. Now that they're having the same populace, or when they have the same laws enacted on them, we're seeing the same effect. So this whole idea, like, oh, black people just chose wrong. I mean, this is just foolish. It's just absolutely not right. If there's a reason why African immigrants do better, right, than Black Americans in this country, I mean, I think the Nigerians are like top 5 or top 3 in terms of immigrants that do well income wise. But there's a reason why, because they still have those traditional home values. But once you have second, third, fourth generation Africans, I mean, living in the U.S. and they're subject to this propaganda and these laws, then you see the same effect. But he is right. I mean, he is right that, you know, like if you look at, for example, if you look at Black married families with a father and mother versus white married families with a father and mother, the disparities pretty much almost disappear. So he is right about that. He is right that, you know, the biggest problem that we have is the fact that, you know, most people just don't have. Most people in the Black community just don't have a father in their lives. They don't have a strong married unit. I mean, I saw Austin Harmon gave a couple of chats, or a shout out to him, but I don't think he has had a father in his life, so he had to kind of figure it out himself. And other people, it's just not the case. I think with everyone else, I think the second highest single mother rate is white people with like 37% or close to 30%.
Can y'all hear it? I can't hear Jack. Keeps dropping off, man. Fucking. Sorry for language. Flipping heck. Matrix attack. Wait, what is this? I can't hear Jack.
It must be because when I'm speaking, I see the volume right coming on, so I see that I'm being heard. I have perfect internet, so I'm not sure why you can't hear me, but I think it might just be due to the topic.
I hear you now. Now I hear you. Awesome, bro. Can you hear me, Jam?
Yeah, I can always hear you. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Hold that thought there, Jam. Brian, can you turn your camera on in the background? So I know you're not a troll. If you can hear me, Brian. But no, I mean, fair points there, Jam. Fair points. But I'm gonna need that check. I'm gonna need that check, bro.
Well, this is the last thing I wanted to say on that. Right? I agree with you on the check, but the thing is, right? So here's either we're gonna have to. So it's two things. Either we're gonna have to get a hold of our woman, right, and have strong families before we have that check, because this is a one-time thing, right? We get the check, we're not gonna get another one. And what's gonna happen is, if we get the check now, I agree with Theo. If we get the check, the majority of us is gonna squander it. They're going to give it to the women, who are definitely going to squander it. And then they're going to be like, well, we gave you the check and you still failed. Look, they're essentially just going to blame our race and say that we're heathens, right? So it's either we get a control, right, of our family. We're like how we were in the 1960s, where 80% of us are married, or in the other one, right, if you just want the check instantly, is you have to give the check to only Black men. That's really the only solution, right? You can't give it to the women. If you give it to the women, right, then it's been seen, like when men win the lottery, they start families, and when women win the lottery, they feel like they don't need no man. So if you give the check to the woman, it's not going to solve our problems. Like, essentially, it's either give the checks to the men and men only, because men will build with that and they will start families, and then the women will respect the men, because the men are now, they're worth way more than the women now. Right, part of the reason why the women don't respect the men in the Black community is because they don't, even though we earn more on average, we don't earn enough to garner their respect. So if we did have the money, that would solve that instantly. And if we can't do that, then yeah, we're gonna have to wait until we have a stranglehold in our community and we have families before we can do that. But I do agree with you on the check. I mean, we definitely deserve a check, but there has to be ways where we get the check, because if we get it wrong, right, this is a one-time thing. If we don't do it right and we squander it, then essentially not only are we not going to have that check again, and we're going to suffer the same way we've been suffering, but they'll use this as an example, right? That essentially we're just degenerates and we can't build anything and all that jazz.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jem. Let me Brian, turn your camera off, please. Let me turn your camera off. Let me bring in Brian in the background. Camera off, Brian. Camera off. Click on the start cam option, right, and that should turn your camera off. Are we good, Brian? Okay, I'm gonna bring you in, yeah. So camera off, yeah. Let me bring in Brian in the background. What's going on, Brian? Can you hear me? Brian. I'm a big green, yeah? Hey, Brian. Brian, can you hear me? All right, I'm gonna take you out, yeah? Okay, I'm sure you want your privacy, okay? All right, let me bring in Brian in the background, okay? Hold on. I'm gonna bring in Brian, yeah? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, yon, san, ni, ichi. That's Japanese. What's going on, Brian? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, IP. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, bruv. Loud and clear.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Thank you for the support throughout today. Much
Of course,
appreciated.
of course, brother. Been supporting for a long time. Haven't been able to, send anything, but figured out how to do super chats. So had to, just spread some love and give some overdue tuition, if you will.
Thank you, bro. So fire away if you have any points.
Yeah, so I jumped off the live and then just came back in. So I saw a lot of what you and Theo were discussing about, and now I just jumped in to hear a little bit of what you guys were talking about. I think I agree specifically in regards to there needs to be some type of method or strategic plan if there were ever going to be reparations, because we're so financially inept or illiterate as a people, unfortunately, when we talk on a macro scale, that the resources wouldn't be used for anything productive that would go towards building a sustainable infrastructure. It will just be, kind of a rinse and repeat of when COVID was happening and everyone got stimulus checks, and then people were just buying Jordans and all of these other liabilities, essentially, that really didn't go towards anything other than, materialistic goods that had no true value. But yeah, it's crazy because people talk about how reparations, like, we don't deserve them or anything like that. But I mean, Native Americans in this country, if you can prove your lineage back to them in the States, you get reparations. You get monthly checks that come from tax dollars as a result of what the atrocities that were done to those people. So I just don't understand how, like, as Black people, as a collective, that's never been something that they've fought for. And I say they because, I mean, I'm first generation. So in this country, like, yeah, I'm a Black American. I was born here, but my parents immigrated here from Africa in the 90s. So my history isn't the same as the Blacks who their descendants are slaves. But I don't understand how that's never something that was ever fought for in a actual organized fashion, when there's a whole demographic of people who have a very similar bloodshedded history due to Europeans who came here, and that's something that they receive.
Facts. No, great points there, Brian. I definitely agree. Cut that check, bro. Cut that check, Harris. Cut that check, Biden. Cut that check. I see Dream Life actually. Your camera's on, bro. Is that okay? Give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up, yeah? Camera okay? On? Okay. Maybe bring in Dream Life actually in the background. What's going on, bruv?
I'm well, man. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Loud and clear. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I just wanted to give a little pushback on what Brian was saying. I hear first of all, I'm always for reparations. We've been through atrocities and we deserve the check just as much as anybody else. But one of the main arguments that I hear all the time is like, only some of us or most of us are just going to squander the money anyway. I mean, if we're following the 80-20 rules, like, of course, that's just the natural flow of money, but it's not the bottom 80% that they're afraid of. It's the top 20% that they're afraid of, because the only thing that we need as a community is infrastructure. And if we were able to build out infrastructure, we wouldn't have to worry about the 80%, because we would funnel them through the infrastructure. And so understanding that if we get reparations, the smart ones of us would develop infrastructures, banks, schools, hospitals, grocery stores. And once we have that level of self-autonomy, then you become a real powerhouse. And ultimately, I think that's what they're afraid of when it comes to this whole conversation. So do I think we'll get it? I doubt it. But of course, if I was trying to fight for something, I would definitely fight for it, because again, I know what will happen if we did get it.
Facts, absolute facts. And I think obviously people will spend the money how they want to spend it, but I know for a fact that there will be some brothers, intelligent brothers, that will invest that money, build a business, save it away, put it into a high yield saving account. Yeah, we need a check. We really do, because when we went through slavery, all right, that's over 2 centuries of working for free, being forced to work for free, not owning anything, not being able to pass on anything, and white people could do that. So essentially, white people have a 200-year head start, and we've not addressed that. So how do people expect us, for us to be living good or be functioning normally when white people have had a 200-year head start? Think about it. 200 years head start. We need to address that. We need to address it. 200 flipping years. Go on, bro.
I was going to say, on top of that, IP, a lot of people like to point out that as Black Americans, we were just sitting on our hands this whole time. We've built multiple cities with our own economy multiple times. And guess who the #1 opposition was that would tear it to the ground every single time? So it's not like we're just sitting out here not doing anything. If you really study our American history, especially Black American history, we've done these things. We've done the work. Everybody loved MLK until he started realizing, like, wait a minute, we just need our own economy. And they're like, all right, we got to get this brother out of here. As soon as this thing, same as Marcus Garvey, the moment he was like, all right, let's start working for ourselves, they banned him from the country. I didn't even know you could ban somebody from a country.
Facts.
Yeah, this brother is well read.
Go on, bro.
No, he's right. This brother is well read. I want to push back a little bit more on what Brian said as well. Like when he's talking about the Native Americans, he's talking about the reparations. Yeah, I agree with reparations, yes. But I think it should be one big flat fat check, right? A one-time payment, like a one-time payment of multiple millions of dollars, right? That's what I believe. The idea of welfare, right? Theo is right. Welfare kills communities. In fact, they talk about Blacks, right, having the worst crime statistics and all that stuff. Yeah, no, that's actually not true, right? People see that because majority of people around Blacks, and they see this, but the actual race with the highest crime statistics and the worst statistics overall is actually Native Americans. That's because of the welfare that they have, right? There's a direct correlation between welfare and then just essentially being lazy, not working, and crime and all that stuff. So I don't agree with residual welfare, like getting a monthly check. Because of course, right, if you have that, right, you saw what happened during COVID, right? If you have that, then people are just going to sit on their bumps and not do anything. However, if you have a one-time check you can use to build, right, and invest and to get infrastructure, right, this is what we need. Now, I also agree with the brother over here that we're probably not going to get it. So you just got to deal with the hand that you're dealt. So I mean, we got to get out the mud. I understand Theo made his money. I'm making my money right now. But what I'm saying is that just because we were able to do it doesn't mean that like the rest of the Blacks are like there's something wrong with them or whatever. I mean, this was a coordinated attack. He was absolutely right about the brother over there, right? The brother with the mic. He's absolutely right about us being able to build, and we build time and time again. And if you look at the history, right, who tore it down time and time again. We didn't know what happened on Black Wall Street. I mean, there's plenty of examples of this, redlining, all that stuff. Right? There's plenty of examples. It's only until very recently that we haven't really been able to build, and that's because they successfully been able to disintegrate the Black family union. Right before, up until very recently, right, we were the most married race, and that was partly due by necessity because we had to do it the most hardship. And now, right, that there's no Black men in the homes, right? You have 5 out of 6 Black children being born out of wedlock. Yeah, now you don't see us building anything. You don't see us doing anything because there's no family unit. But if you look at the Africans that come over here that have a family unit, they do really well. So now they're trying to say, it's because of you. You don't work hard. You don't do this. And they're trying to erase the history, right, of what happened before when we had a strong family unit to make it seem like essentially it's our fault that we're here. And look, I mean, in some case, I do believe it's our fault that we're here because we allowed it to happen. But it's not like, but it's not like what I'm saying is like this whole thing of like just people being lazy and put yourself on the bootstrap. No. All right, this was a coordinated attack, right? Lyndon B.
Facts.
Johnson literally said this. Right, this is all coordinated. So if you are well read, you know it's just coordinated. I'm not saying that the person
Jan. Sorry,
yeah,
bro.
hello.
I haven't got too much time left. I'm gonna begin a new caller. Sorry, bro. Aaron, can you turn your camera on in the background, Aaron? So I know you're not a troll. Yeah, we can turn your camera off, Aaron. Let me bring in Aaron. Then we're gonna go for last statements. I'm gonna end the stream because I'm super tired. It's 4:30 a.m. over here in the UK. Let me bring in Aaron in the background. How you doing, Aaron? You okay?
Hey, what's going on, brother? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother.
Yeah,
By the way, bro.
I just wanted to give my 2 cents really quickly. I too believe that we're definitely owed reparations. I personally believe it should come in the form of a continued cash payments over time, land, education, as well as therapy to undo the mental conditioning that slavery, white supremacy, Jim Crow, all of that has done to us. And I also just wanted to point out a interesting fact. You ask most, because I live in America, you ask most Americans what they believe the number one issue in the country is, and assuming they don't live in a sanctuary city being overrun by immigrants right now, they'll all say the economy, which is funny because most reputable sociologists and economists say that paying out reparations towards Black people would only boost the economy. But even knowing this, they'd still rather not give us out any money. So I just that, but I guess that shows just the anti-Black sentiment overall throughout the West. So it's crazy. But I do agree with you guys that we definitely should get it. Whether or not we will is a totally different argument. Like Jem just said, they're trying to erase history entirely, and I believe that they'll rather erase us from the history books completely before they pay us out a dime. And that's just my stance on it. I don't know.
Facts.
And
Hold on. Sorry, bro. Shout out to Austin Holman for the support again. We will have more money, but white man will still get picked. In dating, I agree with that, but obviously that's the image stuff, right? That the white man who controls Hollywood control who's Batman, who's Superman, who's James Bond is the white man. So maybe when we get that check, we can create our own movie studios and portray our own image. In the meantime, you're gonna keep getting all the women, unfortunately. Go on, Brian.
yeah, I just wanted to say, let me be clear in what I mentioned earlier. I don't believe that every single Black individual who would have rights to reparations would fumble what they would be given and not make the best of the opportunity. What I was saying is, if we look at like the Black community here as a whole, it takes more than just being given money to get out of the situation that the Black people as a community that we're in, like to actually advance as a people. You could give someone $1 million. If they're not financially literate, they're not going to retain that and grow that. It takes a certain level of financial literacy to understand how money works, how to grow your money, how to protect it from taxes, how to make it work for you as opposed to work for it in order to sustain longevity and sustainability. And that was the main root of what I was trying to communicate in terms of just being given checks, no matter how much money it is, it's not going to really solve the root of the issue. Back when you're referring to, having Black communities, Black towns, Black cities where we were supporting ourselves, we had economies where people had skills, people had education, people had trades where we had our own basically infrastructure where we could support each other, keep the dollar within our own communities and build each other up. We don't really have that on a mass scale anymore. We have that in few communities, yes, but in the context of the plight that we're currently in, I don't think that we need to get back to that where it's more than just money. It's actually about building the foundations in order to have long-term generational sustainability. That's basically what I was trying to communicate earlier.
Awesome. All right. So thank you, everyone. I need to wrap up. I'm super tired. It's 4:24 a.m. So thank you, everyone. for calling in. Let's go for last statements. Just give everyone the first shot. Jam, do you have any closing statement? And make it quick, please, brother. I gotta get some sleep.
No, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. Thank you for a good night.
Thank you, Jam. Speak to you soon, bro. Okay, thank you, bro. Awesome. Mr. Aaron, any closing statement?
Yeah. For anyone who hasn't gone through the Python course already, that also isn't in this class, please get in the next class. And that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Thank you, Aaron. Speak to you soon, bro. Much appreciated. Mr. Dream Live, actually, any closing statement?
Yeah, I was just going to shout out your Patreon as well. If you guys aren't in the Patreon, I highly suggest you get into that. A lot of great information in there. And also, IP, I do want to start interviewing people, brothers on my channel. I was wondering if you'd be open to an interview or if you even do anything like that.
So send me a DM on IG, bro. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, what's your Instagram?
So I'll post it here. Hold on. Okay. I'll post it in the private chat. There's my IG. Mr. Brian, any closing statement?
No, brother, just thank you for, continue to doing the good work. Get some rest. Stay safe out there in the UK. Keep supporting this brother. And yeah, we'll chat soon.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Brian. Okay. Have a great day ahead, week ahead. All right, brothers, look after yourself. And I'll see you, brothers, in the